Hello, I'm DFW's own Danny Bayless, letting you know that you are about to hear a free podcast of The Dumb Zone. But if you'd like to subscribe at dumbzone.com, you will get 4 shows per week, plus the weekend wrap-up and any bonus epis like our Business Wednesday interviews. Oh, you'll also get our DZTV archives. Again, that's dumbzone.com to subscribe. Now, on to today's program.
The Dumb Zone.
Hello there. Let me talk to you about the easiest, simplest way for you to upgrade your vehicle situation and do it with a lease with Fair Lease. Fairlease.org. There are 3 simple steps on how this works. Step 1, consultation. Step 2, your lease. Step 3, your new car. Could not be easier. It's called Fair Lease because it's all very transparent. It's very open and honest. You're not going into a dealership and getting, haggling with a guy whose biceps are bulging out of his shirt. I'm not saying that Danny at Fair Lease is not in shape, but he's not intimidating. You will get white glove service, which, Blake, that means?
It's awesome.
It is awesome. They will deliver that new car right to your home, office, or even the local fair, if that's what you desire. Can be done from the comfort of your home. Can be done on the phone. Drive now, pay later, 0 money down, no payments for 60 days. They have all sorts of options to fit your needs, 36 to 60-month terms. And the most important thing, it's easy and it's fair, fairlease.org.
The Dumb Zone.
I mean, there's no way I'd sit up here and tell you that I've read it all. I've read a fraction of it, but what's online, I mean, just go talk to the geniuses that are online. I don't know. My face, your face, instant face. Go talk to whoever you want that does that stuff. I don't know.
Alright. I never listen. I'm gonna listen. I wanna listen to the Dumb Zone.
Happy Thursday, everybody. I'm Dan McDowell.
I'm Jake Kemp.
I'm Blake Jones.
And today we broadcast live to tape
I'm gonna listen. I wanna
from high atop my garage.
You doing okay?
listen to the Dumb Zone. Alright.
I'm trying to make sense of it all.
I felt for you.
I'm trying to understand why wouldn't you want to come here? What's going on? Is it because your kid? Did you really get your kid a job? Is that really in the contract?
Oh, yeah.
Steve Belichick is going to be the next head coach afterwards?
That is correct. I'm sure they have
That's awesome.
some legal outs, ways they can. It's not like, what if he just doesn't want to do it? It's not like they can force him like he's a slave. But maybe the guy, speaking of Papa, just loves being around college-age Poon. Like he's seen the light now.
That's certainly a heavy thread on how they got Bill Belichick there. Here's Bill Belichick looking at sorority row.
He just wants to help them with their education and their careers.
Like he's dating a girl that could be in college. Well, I guess anybody could be in college.
She's like grad school age.
She tested out of college. She's so smart.
It's insane. And it's going to be awesome. I love, even if we weren't in this job, just as a fan of the drama of sports and the soap opera nature of it, I love whenever we see a story like this because I know it's going to bear fruit for many years. He's going to twist off on some 18-year-old reporter. Other coaches are going to get crossways with him for the way he does things. Dabo, somehow that's going to be a thing, which I can't wait for. He'll be pissed off about the playoff. It's going to be awesome. I don't think it's going to work, but that's even funnier to me.
What if it does?
I know you're...
What if he leads him to a natty?
It won't.
I don't think it will.
They can pay money.
Yeah, that's part of the deal. They upped from $4 million to $20 million on their NIL. And I have a lot... No, it's interesting. He was on McAfee the other day, and I'll play you some of that in a little bit. At regular speed, by the way, because I would not recommend listening to Pat McAfee on 1.5.
You can't.
Because you're trying to...
Fire it up now. What do you got?
Bro!
It's insane. I didn't edit it in 1.5. I just listened to it like that.
I mean, what do you got?
Oh, okay, yeah. So,
I want to know about Belichick.
Yeah, why not? We're here. So, let's see here. This is kind of interesting because he goes on McAfee every week, and of course, I found this out at rehab. So I would make sure every day I'm like, okay, today's Belichick day. Today's Aaron Rodgers day. I'll make sure I'm in the room for that. And it's weird because same thing with Saban, really. He's pretty great. He's talkative. He's verbose. He doesn't just answer one word. And we've kind of always said that about both of them. When you asked them something they were interested in, they would talk.
Yeah. But when it was questioning their decisions or asking them about, what was it, political stuff in the league.
That was Seattle. That was about the Trump letter that Belichick received. But even stuff.
But if it's like break down the history of punt returns or something. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
Or the
exactly your thought process.
One-gap schemes. What they don't want to answer are, how big is this when it comes to the program?
Well, guess what? That's what student reporters ask.
I was going to say, yeah. And I don't know, you're getting the depth of question from the Tar Heel Gazette. But I think this McAfee thing, it might not have been for college, but I do think it was part of an image makeover. I think he's a very calculated individual, and I think he's generally viewed as an asshole. And you saw that with some of the interviews he had last offseason where NFL teams and owners are kind of scared of him because their ego's just as big as his.
Was he on the Brady roast?
No, I don't think so, was he?
Yeah.
But it was kind of timid.
It was weird because, him and Kraft and Brady were all there.
No, I mean, did he do roasting?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember that. Okay. But you're just talking about his image makeovers.
Being out
certainly
there.
Him and Peyton.
He does Peyton for sure. The girlfriend. So it's just weird hearing him be like this because I'm used to the other him. He was on it.
Yeah, we can play it later if you want.
So here he is kind of dodging a question. It's kind of funny.
I think it's good for everything to get you back around ball, especially at the college level. You said you talked to the chancellor. Schefter told us you talked to him for 5 hours yesterday. Is that real? 5 hours?
Yeah, let's just leave it at that, Pat. I mean, I don't want to give out too much information. I'll lose my press conference. I want to get my press conference aura back.
Okay, so it has been reported that you met for 5 hours yesterday.
Okay, so he's trying to slide back into, oh, yeah, I'm supposed to be an ass to anybody who asks me anything. Mm-hmm. But he did give some really interesting answers. And if you're on team, maybe this will work. I think the reason has to be because the college game is turning into the pro game. Typically, it's the other way around when you're talking about on-field stuff, but now with the NIL and the rev share and
the portal,
and he kind of explains that.
Well, I think that I'll just say this, I think there are a lot of football programs that are being structured similar to NFL programs. So in college, you now have high school recruiting, but you have college portal. In pro football, you have the draft and pro free agency. So you have salary cap and negotiations with NFL agents. In college, you have negotiations with whoever represents the player, whether that's a family member, a high school coach, an agent, or some other financial advisor or whoever it is. You have players changing teams in college as you have players that could change teams in the NFL with a little different set of rules, but the same general structure. And you have to value your players in some way because you have a limited amount of money, whatever the revenue share is. There's an NIL component. It sounds like there's legislation that'll be structured around that maybe it's not in place right now, but it's probably headed in that direction. So I think it's a little different version of the NFL model, much more so than it's ever been before. Let's put it that way. Coaching staffs now there are no limitations on that like there were in college. There's some recruiting limitations, but the size of the staffs and so forth is not aren't the limitations. The scholarships have been expanded, so that there are a lot of changes in the college landscape. I'm not going to be in it say here and say I'm an expert on all of them, but I think it's a little bit of everybody's trying to find not only their way, but what's best for their individual situation.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the Andrew Luck GM of Stanford football hired.
I was going to say, now there's GMs for football teams, and
the rev share thing kind of will be a salary cap.
Eventually. Not yet.
Right, eventually.
So right now, I mean, what does make sense is college coaches, their heads are spinning. They hate it. Like Saban hates this. Guys who have been
Dabo.
college coaches forever. Dabo, oh my God, Dabo hates, phones. But certainly hates, can't stand what's going on here because the way they kind of had a hold on things is changing. And now they have actually way more competition. That's why the college coaches hate this. Pro coach. Think of a pro coach going to college, though. Might love it because there's really not a salary cap, and I could steal any player on any team. And if you think like it's attractive to have your son, I was going to say son or daughter for some reason, play for.
It's a new world.
Like Dion, he could attract free agents, which they are in the portal. Like, what if here's a little Deuce Robinson is in the news. He's in the portal. Our guy.
Yeah.
What if Dominic's like, you know what? I would love him to play under Bill Belichick.
Yeah, no, they actually kind of talked about that a little bit, and he specifically, McAfee was like, I have a feeling a lot of former Patriots kids are going to be directing their kid. Like, what about Gronk's kids?
But where college coaches hate these changes, pro coaches going there might think, this is freeing me. I
Yeah.
can now pick and choose, or I could say, these are 5 quarterbacks across that I have already seen play college football. Let's go after them.
Yeah, that's
And whoever we get first. Wow.
And Belichick said that too. He said something to the effect of, I've heard from a lot of people who've been in the NFL a long time that are getting contacted by college programs.
Like, if you got a crappy quarterback in the NFL,
You're stuck.
wait for the draft, hope that it's
Dead
a year
money.
that,
Yeah.
yes, but and college, wow.
Yeah, and the other
This
thing
might
too
make
is,
sense.
It might. The other thing is,
Because I couldn't make sense of it.
well,
as
you
I was
always
thinking
used
about
to
it
say, and Belichick is like an extreme example of this, like, why would an NFL coach want to deal with all that? Like, you got to go to a living room and deal with this family, and you got to deal with boosters. But if the money ends up just being like, if the recruiting part just ends up being, here's the money for some kids, then I don't know that you really have to be that much of a glad hander, and you just have to produce wins.
And his assistants are doing a lot of the legwork for recruiting.
That's true, too.
He's probably just coming in doing the final say, but
Here's his pitch, too.
he's not knocking on doors.
This is the last piece of audio I have, but this is going to be his pitch.
Now, the whole thing would be what you don't know about and what you haven't had to do. AJ has a question for you.
Coach,
Well,
you
Pat,
mentioned
can I just interject 2 things in here?
Yes.
One,
Sure.
let me put this in capital
Norm.
letters. If.
Yeah.
I-F.
Got it.
If. I was in a college program. The college program.
See how he did that? He just put that in there so he can tell you exactly what he's going to do when he gets hired on Thursday.
Yeah.
I was in a college program. The college program would be a pipeline to the NFL for the players that had the ability to play in the NFL. It would be a professional program, training, nutrition, scheme, coaching, techniques that would transfer to the NFL. It would be an NFL program at a college level and an education that would get the players ready for their career after football, whether that was the end of their college career or at the end of their pro career. But it would be, geared toward, developing the player, time management, discipline, structure, and all that. That would be life skills, regardless of whether they're in the NFL or in somewhere in business. And I feel very confident that I have the contacts in the National Football League to pave the way for those players that would have the ability to have the opportunity to compete in the National Football League. Whether they're good enough or not, I don't know, but they would be ready for it. I don't have any doubt about that. So that would be the first comment that I would make. Relative to the structure of the program, it would be an NFL program, but not at the NFL level.
So getting 5 stars are almost you just pay him a lot. But he's saying those guys that are 4-3 that think, I don't know, I might be able to play in the NFL. He's saying, no, you can, but you have to do it here.
Yeah.
I'm going to teach you how to manage your time.
But you always want a player
body.
who has come from a bigger college that most closely resembles an NFL system.
Yeah.
That's the quicker.
Sure, not just quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But mainly quarterbacks.
The quarterbacks are a big part of it, but I think
And that's a big part of winning. And, yes, you're going to attract some top quarterbacks.
because most of the guys who bust in the NFL, it's not because they're not talented. It's either because of injury or it's because they simply don't know how to be a professional. Like, think of some of the Cowboys. Tristan Hill had all the talent in the world, and he was just late. He fell asleep whenever Garrett had Isaiah Thomas come talk to the team. It's just guys who end up dicking around. And he's basically saying, we're not going to produce that type of player. They'll be gone because he can cut you now immediately with no implications on a salary cap. I mean, you probably still got to pay the guy, but you don't have to carry a dead number around for the next 5 years like you do if you get
if you
tired
make
of
a mistake on a guy,
Yeah.
you move on to the next guy next year.
Yeah.
This might make all the sense in the world.
I mean, he's shown definitely even more and earlier than Saban did a willingness to change his schemes to whatever the next big thing is. You know, Saban waited way too long,
Yeah.
whereas Belichick was always ahead of it. His freaking staff is going to be ridiculous.
I'm just happy to see him working again.
Like, is Wes Welker his OC? Wes Welker's a receivers coach with the Dolphins, right?
Is he?
I think so.
Then you're right.
I mean,
Yeah,
if Warren Sapp wants to run to Colorado and make,
What about Josh McDaniel?
why not?
You think you're going to play in an NFL? Yeah, you're going to play in an NFL system.
Yeah.
All these NFL coaches here,
Now the DC is
they know what it takes to play in the
Vrabel.
The DC's his son, so he's kind of he's
alright.
going to be kind of hanging out with his mullet. Like, that's got to be weird, man.
Matt Patricia.
Yeah, it is weird. Like, as his son, maybe there'd be a little thing of, hey, I want to show I can do it on my own, or
Right. I mean,
I would rather not.
Yeah, you'd
Like,
think.
don't make that contract. And he's like, yeah, cool. I probably wouldn't get a.
Well, he's a DC at Washington, so I mean, if he played his cards right, he could end up doing the normal route where he's the coach at like
Right,
Miami.
he's still got a better path because his name is Belichick.
Like, for
He's
sure.
going to get a shot.
But I don't think you would have started. Your first head coaching gig is probably not at UNC. You're at Ball State. You know, I don't know, but it is funny that we opened with that clip because, I mean, you do have to. Let me put it this way. I'll be interested to see how much he tries to adapt to what is now being a college coach, which is you got to film a stupid fucking TikTok dance every now and then.
Recruiting videos.
You got to do the Brian Kelly
the camera
uncomfortable,
going around you.
dance with a player and just looking so fish out of water. Or is he just like, no, I'm not doing any of that.
Yeah, I'm Belichick.
Yeah, you want to play in the NFL? You come here.
I'm
You
not
wanna-
going to be tweeting
you wanna
hype
do video.
videos.
I only do TikToks for my girlfriend.
So you're saying 13 months from now, Belichick could be in the Pop-Tart Bowl? Or
That'd
being
be so funny.
doused in mayonnaise?
They're going to be in the playoffs year one.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
No, it's going to take a little bit.
Well, if there's
Will you give me year two at the very most? Because I'll accept that bet if you want to bet.
2 years for the top 12?
Yeah.
well, hold on though, because I'm pretty sure this contract is only for this year and next year, the playoff.
Oh,
So
this
you make
current iteration of the playoff?
Yeah, so you may have like a 24 team or something, and you're
Yeah, that's right. Just give me
so-
2 years.
just
You going to give me
2
it?
years.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay.
What are we doing?
We'll have to figure it out.
Well, I'll tell you this. One thing that definitely helps, and at least as presently constructed, I mean, they play a pretty easy schedule for
Yeah.
a major conference team, right? I mean,
It's just Clemson, basically.
SMU. Yeah, I mean that's really maybe the bones of Florida State turned back into something, but I don't know. He's wildly unqualified to do this job. But he's never coached college football. He's just been around it a lot.
Yeah.
But
He never coached college football? I thought maybe he did
he was definitely around,
a little bit.
but I don't
just
know that
read
he was
Belichick book.
actually a coach there.
Boy, this is great. Good stuff. Can't wait it. I'm going to watch every game. Or at least, be interested in the score.
Triple play every game.
Triple play, UNC, and the other, along with the little memes about Belichick, what he's thinking or how they recruit him. The other little joke on internet was that UNC got younger at the head coaching position because they got rid of Mac Brown, who was 73.
Somehow.
And Bill Belichick is 72.
Yeah, I guess they both seem pretty old. I mean, what would you do if you got to see prime via Belichick in a college football playoff game? Because that's not Colorado had a path this year, a very real one, and
Yeah, they don't lose to Kansas, they're probably in.
Shadur and Travis Hunter are moving on, but they just a couple weeks ago flipped one of the top quarterbacks in the country from USC, like Deuce.
Yeah, USC is.
I mean, dude.
What if Deuce plays for
I
Prime?
have not talked to Dominic at all about this. The news was just, yesterday?
Yeah.
Dominic knows Dion pretty well.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Florida State.
No. Yeah, it's awesome. Well, Belichick really likes to incorporate the tight end into his offense as well.
He does.
Would he be able to mold an NFL tight end?
You might also just look at the fact of, this guy plays baseball and football. Who could I go play for who has some experience doing that?
Okay.
What if Dominic and Deuce get Dan to both Dabo and Belichick?
And Dion somehow.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. Come on, Dominic. Well, we already got a Dion tie, so
That's true.
We've interacted with Dion before.
That's true. You were actually friends with him.
All right, Dominic. We need you to, yes. I need to be sitting in Belichick's office for his pitch to Deuce. I'll do anything for you.
Oh, man.
Qualis Roofing
Them
is
too.
somebody got me thinking about Business Wednesday was yesterday, and I was thinking of Qualis Roofing because I've been meaning to call Brian over there to hook him up for a Business Wednesday interview. I'm interested in the Qualis Roofing story. They're great. And what Qualis Roofing will do for you is if you just go over there to get a free – you don't have to go over there. They go to you.
Yeah, you got to bring your roof to Qualis.
Take your roof.
And they check it out.
You cut off a 4x4. You just carry it in. Anyway,
Yeah.
no. They'll come out to your house. If you call them or check them out online at qualisgc.com, get a free roof inspection. They will give you either an annual subscription to our podcast or a T-shirt, a Dumb Zone T-shirt, just for getting your roof inspected.
And then, do it.
If you get a roof with Qualis, they'll pay for a sit-in, and you could sit in and watch the show either in our studio or up here.
And we've had
under
a couple
Qualis
people,
roof.
That's right. We've had a couple people do that.
We're up to 5 now, including tomorrow's guest, the coach who never punts.
This is a
We're going
Qualis.
to have to talk about that later. I'm very confused and very excited. So go to
This is a Qualis Roofing.
Yeah.
Sit in. Okay, for tomorrow. All right, great.
QualisGC.com. Get that roof checked out and get some free DZ stuff while you're at it. QualisGC.com.
All right. And they're bringing us today in Twitter today.
The Dumb Zone presents.
Now, Deuce Robinson
Today in Twitter.
entering the portal was the most sent to me thing yesterday.
Man.
There was no picture of any World War II leaders as a kid and wearing shorts or anything floating out there.
That's an underreported story, man. Not Deuce, but just what the hell happened to them this year? Get the
USC?
the big money for Lincoln Riley. They land every recruit in the world that they wanted, and they just...
The world is changing, Jake.
God, they were bad. I watched them quite a bit, too. They're on. They were on TV a lot. And
Yeah, Big Ten.
yeah, not a fun team to watch.
So, Luigi Mangione has been supplanted in Twitter traffic, I think, trending by the lady who had sex with 101 guys in one day. And apparently, we have come across a documentary on this lady.
Yeah, it was. This is the reason she kind of did it. I started reading about this a few weeks ago. I'd never heard of the woman, but I saw some pre-interview stuff with her and with the filmmaker. They're British, right, Blake?
Yeah.
And then I saw the clip of her coming out of the the chamber like a week, not a week, maybe 4 days ago, and was like, oh, this seems like the most horrible thing I've ever seen. And then it got picked up, as I would say, just by the culture in general, which means now people it's like Hawk Tua. It starts out as like, that's fucking wild. And by day 3, you have to comment on what this says about humanity. You know what I mean?
That's what people are doing now.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm here for it all. The point I want to make is apparently some of this stuff from the documentary is so explosive that we're going to bring it to you tomorrow. We're going to break it down and put it behind the paywall. We want this to be exclusive. Thank you for those who are subscribing to the podcast. We're trying to put some extra really good stuff behind paywall, and Blake has assured us that this is great. So we'll head into that full bore tomorrow, Blake. Can we tease that?
Yeah.
Will you be prepared for that?
As it were.
It's a lot. I got a lot I want to play for you guys. It's very good.
When Blake came in today after having just finished it, he looked like she does when she walks out of that room.
Yeah,
it's kind of a 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah, not out-of-body experience. It was a wild drive over here this morning.
Did you finish?
The documentary? Yeah, I did.
I'm excited for this tomorrow.
So elsewhere on Twitter yesterday, and yesterday was Business Wednesday. We've told you before. More tiring than a regular day for sure. It's just so many phone calls. People in business.
I know, but you know what I
all
did?
you do is meet?
Yeah, pretty much. I told Dan this yesterday.
I drove
Blake,
up to Prosper. Met with my guy Chaz up there.
We had
drove home with the bookkeeper on the phone.
We had about an hour phone call yesterday, Blake, and I decided this is how business people do this. I went and got my car like a deep car wash.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll talk to, even my wife is like, oh, I did this, I did this. I did this. I was like, how do you have time for all this? It's like, oh, well, I just did it. I just took a call.
Yeah.
While I was doing it. I took a call. I got my nails done. I just did a call. I had to be on the phone for an hour. So I'm trying to hack my Business Wednesday into this. Do one from a cold tub or something.
Yeah, you're taking care of business people. Don't just do one thing.
Yeah, I like it.
You got to do a variety of things. That's just the way the world is these days. Anyway, something else that resurfaced on internet for some reason. Philip Kingston sent this to me. He's like, why is this? For some reason, this was just dated yesterday, though. And it was the day after we were talking about it. Do you remember a couple days ago, we were talking about when I was talking to Troy Aikman with Donovan on the ticket. 2011, apparently it is. It's when Troy Aikman was mad about Skip Bayless having speculated about him being gay, but that was like it was 1995, right? Skip Bayless's book came out and had inferences that Troy Aikman was gay, but for some reason, just yesterday, Philip happened to be reading Outsports.com, which is gay.
Yeah.
The gay website. I've once done an interview.
What?
Yeah, it's
You've never heard of Outsports.com?
No.
like when an athlete comes out or when they issues of.
I once did an interview with Outsports.com. They needed my comments. Do you want to know what it was about?
No.
You don't want to know. Okay.
Wait, yes, I do want to
Oh.
know. I'm sorry. I thought you asked. Sorry, I'm reading the top 20 best LGBTQ pro wrestlers of 2024.
Yeah, I don't recall. No, I'm ashamed. Nothing comes to mind.
It was because I think because Gabe Kapler was like named their something of the year. This is so many years ago. Somebody called me and wanted comments about Gabe Kapler because he would pose. Like there was pictures of Gabe Kapler with him wearing just a Speedo.
Yeah, banana hammock looking.
And holding a bat.
Yeah.
Like he knows he's extremely hot.
Yeah.
And the gay community loves Gabe Kapler, as they probably just love any hot guy. Right? I mean,
any hot guy that's not anti-gay. Gabe was always a cool.
Yeah, maybe there's some of that though. Sometimes that even makes him hotter.
Like me loving Fox News ladies?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Knowing that they wouldn't be into you makes it even hotter. Oh. But anyway, yeah, the Troy Aikman, there was just a whole write-up on, again, dated yesterday, but Troy Aikman, and then it just talks about how he was mad, made his remarks on Dallas radio station, The Ticket, and I even got a little pub here. Dan McDowell pressed him on the point. Okay, Aikman said, when a guy comes out, and whether it's intimated or stated, there's no substance to that claim, and he's doing it purely to gain interest in the book, that's a problem. Because I think I had said to him, did he intimate that or whatever? And he said, I will tell you this, I've not physically seen Skip Bayless since that time. That was in 95, and I still kind of wonder what I might do to him when I see him. Dan McDowell pressed him on the point. You certainly will say something, McDowell said. Oh, yeah, Aikman replied. But you don't think it'll get physical, do you? Well, I mean, I don't know. Aikman also tossed in this, quote, I'm not so sure Skip's not gay. And then Outsports adds, snap! Exclamation point.
Again, I will preface this with I used to laugh when Bob and Dan did this and think that everything that happened that they possibly could have been the cause of was. There's no way this article gets written if we don't talk about this the other day, right? There's no timeliness to this at all. There's no anniversary.
The Outsports writer might just be a fan.
Well, or someone is someone.
But then
is
he
someone
writes, the author of this article writes, after that snap, Aikman should just STF about this. These rumors have been around for 20 years, and Bayless is not the only one who have mentioned them. Blah, blah, blah.
Well,
what do you mean? It's not like weird. Aikman sitting around talking about it. That was 13 years ago.
Yeah, I have to think that only came back up because somebody 4 levels down the line told him about it. But yeah, that's a really random story. But good for you, man. You're our out correspondent.
That's right. Now I've been featured twice.
Jim Harbaugh has a gay son?
Are you against that?
I just didn't know about it. Jim Harbaugh's gay son says his dad got him hooked on musical theater. Gotta think that was in there, though.
Would you like to...
Ooh, the other one is Bobby Petrino Jr. You know, it's funny. Go ahead. You have something on this?
No.
My mom, when she was in high school, I remember this growing up, her telling us a story. The coach, the high school football coach at Richland at the time, he was like he was a Texas high school football coach. He's exactly what you thought he was. And his son was gay and was like into dance and theater and stuff. And that was like a big story in our town. Like the legendary football coach, and his son was, very effeminate. And I remember even, as a kid being like, that sucks for both of them. Like, that would be so weird. You're talking the fucking...
And it'd be a big story if, like... The big story would be if the guy was, like, cool about it and said, no, I love it. I actually love
and that part I don't know. But, yeah, Harbaugh, that's weird. But very cool.
The other thing I saw on Twitter, so I don't know if it's even a news story elsewhere, is do you have the flag planting thing in the news?
I do. No, let's do it now, though. I got to pull the story back up here. But yeah,
Representative Josh Williams put it out on Twitter.
Yes.
Puffing his chest out, has a Superman cape on.
He's here to save the sanctity of midfield, especially in Columbus. So yeah, Bill introduced the OHIO Sportsmanship Act that'll make flag planting at midfield a felony.
A felony
in the state of Ohio. He posted this with a video of the brawl. Behavior that incites violent brawls and puts our law enforcement officers in danger has no place on the football field. And ESPN wrote an article about this, which he hat-tipped and posted, like, hey, they're actually writing about why we're doing this, that this is something that could cause violence, and it puts our officers at risk. And, yeah, I don't know. It feels like a real grandstand here.
Yeah, of course. I wonder where he went to school.
Right, yeah.
One more thing about Business Wednesday. and then we'll move on because all this stuff is from Business Wednesday, I think. I was talking to Jake yesterday. Another business call. How many business calls did we have, man? We're just doing it all. We're just doing it all. But it was. Remember, you called me because we were going to jump on our next call, and I was like, "Hold on, just 30 seconds," because I was walking out of Central Market, and I saw him again. Xander.
He's still there.
The greatest grocery store cashier.
He wasn't even on the clock.
The greatest grocery store receptionist. That he was on the clock. He was. I picked the wrong lane. I didn't know it, and then I looked over and I see Xander. Again, he's the greatest. I told you how quick he is. How he's seeing ahead of the game. He's setting. After he scans, he sets it right somewhere where it's going to be in perfect spot to put it into the bag later and in the correct order of where you're supposed to. Like, he's so fast. And when I saw him, there wasn't a line. Of course, he had ushered everybody through. And what's he doing? You think he's looking over at his phone? Or just chatting up the cute bag girl or something? No. He's like got a spray bottle. He's spraying down the thing. He's wanting it all to be totally clean, the revolving belt thingy. And then he's spraying. Like, he's just going above and beyond. I want to hire this guy to a lifetime deal. Like, buying stock in Xander. If you ever happen upon Central Market, South Lake Central Market, and you see Xander, you'll know.
He's the king of don't forget the rice, for sure.
He just seems like he's
going to
the
do
best.
small things
I hope
big.
nothing spoils Xander. So I bought you some audio, and we're going to say it's brought to you by Early Bird CBD. What's their deal? Early Bird. No, I mean, I know their deal overall is they don't. This is not your grandpa's CBD. They actually have THC in it, and that's why it's for us. It's great at the end of a long day. Hey, it might be great in the middle of your day. I don't know. But for us, it's more of a take the edge off type of a thing. It's got 2.5 milligrams of CBD, so it's a very small amount, but some would say a perfect amount.
It is the perfect amount. They're based in Austin, so you want to support a Texas company. They pride themselves on customer service. If you call them, they will call you back that day. They have great deals going for you all year round, but right now, they got some deals up there for you to check out for the holidays. Go check them out at earlybirdcbd.com. The promo code is DUMBZONE, and you will get 20% off your order. Again, if you got to take a drug test, not for you, but if you don't, and you want a little something to feel nice, go to earlybirdcbd.com and use the promo code DUMBZONE for 20% off.
It's going to be an early bird night for me as I'm going to a concert, and I don't want to pay $10 per beer.
Uh-huh. And you don't want to feel nasty
Won't feel
tomorrow.
groggy the next day.
Yeah, what are we going to go see?
You slap dicks aren't giving me a drug test, so it's going to be a great, great night.
What's the concert?
I don't know. Wife picked it out. I've never heard of this guy. Haven't heard any of his music.
You need that early bird.
I
then.
What's it called?
Need the early bird, so I'm just not a grouch.
You don't even know
night.
the name for real?
Billy Strings.
Can't help you.
I couldn't either. Never heard of him.
Billy Strings.
Apparently, he's big enough to play Dickies Arena.
Okay.
So, we'll see.
Boy, you're going way across town.
I'm not thrilled.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got a big game tomorrow against Sock. I can't be thinking about Billy Strings.
No scene control.
No, not at all. I suck.
So I drew the. It's a great assignment, but I listened to Micah Parsons this week, so you wouldn't have to. He does an hour-long podcast.
I'm surprised he didn't do it on his normal day, just the morning after the game.
He had Ashton Janty and interviewed him for like 15 minutes or so. Bruh, can't wait to see you in the league next year, bruh.
Talk to him about coming to the Cowboys?
Bruh, I can't root for you. Can't root for you in your game, man. Wish you luck, but I've rooted for you every game, but I can't root against Penn State. Bruh.
Oh, I forgot about that, yeah.
Boise's playing Penn State, apparently. So, anyway, he was addressing, once he got done with Ashton, he started addressing the aftermath of Cowboys, Bengals, and remember he was so upset, like he just walked off the field while this game was still going on, and almost crying, if not actually crying, after the game. And he wanted to tell you why he was so upset. And I thought, you know what? He's very humble in the way he will tell you why he was so upset.
The frustration is, and why I was upset, not only am I the most incomplete competitor, I don't think there's anyone in the world except for some of maybe the top 3 greatest players of all time, like MJ, maybe, RP Kobe Bryant, but I think I'm in their category of competitiveness.
Yeah, of course. Of course you are.
It's just that's very.
Where would I rank as competitors? Probably one of the top 3 who's ever lived.
Yeah, the Muhammad Ali. Yeah, no, that's very Cam Newton self-portrait right next to Obama and MLK. Yeah, and he's like, maybe Kobe. Yeah, maybe.
No. R.I.P. Kobe.
R.I.P.
Okay, he's got a good point here when talking about, because do you think Micah's online at all? Do you think he knows what people are saying? So he's online, and he's seeing that some were criticizing him for leaving the field early. And he does have a good point, but it's funny, too, because, like, are you just figuring out what fans are like?
And, I just feel like, it's like, damn if I do, damn if I don't. Plenty of fans, if I went over there and was all laughing with the competition after we lost like that, a lot of people would be mad. I walk off the field because the game's over and people are mad. It's just like,
Yeah, Blake. What do you want him to do?
I don't know. Act like a professional.
Here is a butchered cliche.
Oh, man, it was just tough, bro. And then I think the icebreaker that really crushed my heart was...
Yeah, no, that's...
I'm glad you got to experience a Micah podcast.
No, it's really good. I mean, it's fun.
It's not good.
Right. It's real. There's really... it's coming to America good. There are 5 really funny little 30-second clips that you can play on your radio show. And Micah, in an hour, I've got you 10 little 20-second clips that we can play on our radio show.
The icebreaker that really crushed my heart was, finding out about Demo when I came into the locker room. I think I was emotional then, and then when I heard that news, I just broke down.
So the icebreaker that broke his heart.
My typical icebreaker with a female is telling him about my grandma passing away. It really sets the mood.
Okay, and then this is fun too. So then he's done with the Cowboys, and then what does he do, guys? Do you know?
Questions from the chat.
No, first there's a segment sponsored by
NFL?
Nationwide where it's like the such and such player of the week or something.
Okay, yes, sorry.
week.
He does those little things that are sponsored. But you got it right, Blake. Second time. We're going to go around the league.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Let's get into around the league. The Eagles won a close one over the Panthers. We played the Panthers this week.
This is really interesting to me that he has HSOs. Well, listen.
And there's been a lot of questions surrounded by A.J. Brown's frustration with Jalen Hurts. And to me, and after the game, he said they didn't improve the passing. Honestly,
wasn't good enough. What are some things you think that the offense needs to improve?
Then they play a clip of A.J. Brown telling a reporter that he's not happy that he only got 4 targets and blah blah blah. So we'll get through that clip.
Incredibly tough.
All right, so let me just end that clip.
3 and out.
Honestly, man, I do not blame his frustrations.
So
no way.
Yeah.
You just gave A.J. Brown a $33 million a year extension.
Bingo.
It's hard to fathom how he's only getting 4 targets in a game. He's only had 1 game of double-digit targets since week 1. Are we serious?
Producer note.
There's no way your number 1 receiver should have 4 targets in a game. It's unexcusable.
I just think it's funny that he's commenting on an NFC East team about the turmoil they're having, but then he's taken a side. Yeah, I'm with A.J. Brown. You know why? because he got paid.
Yeah.
He should be getting a lot of targets.
Now, you have to remember, though, that if he hadn't been paid and they weren't giving him targets, it would be the Dez thing of, hey, you're just trying to suppress his value by not getting his stats up.
Right.
One way or another, someone's out to get you.
Some way money is always involved.
But yeah, he's commenting on how an NFC team's offense could be better.
Right.
This is what they need to do.
Try to get him more targets.
Come out and hang 180 on Dallas in the second matchup this year.
4 touchdowns.
Here, we're going to preview the Cowboy game coming up this week. Who do they play?
Carolina Panthers.
What's their record?
Atrocious.
It's like 2-10, 2-11, something. Like, yes, they're one of the 2 worst teams in the league right now. But Micah's going to set you up for when the Cowboys lose.
And obviously, it's week 15. We play the Panthers. I think the Panthers are, a year away from being a playoff caliber team. Bryce Young is looking like the number 1 pick he is. Their record don't describe how really good of a team this is. Their record does not show this. This is a really good football team.
Maybe. They've been playing better, for sure.
Yeah, they have, but that's definitely, that's what coaches would say too.
Do you know the story of how Bryce Young got his job back?
Is it the rapper? No, go ahead.
Andy Dalton.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Someone lifted a curse from him or something.
I don't even.
I want to give you the real story.
Easter baskets, all right? You don't want to know. I don't really want to know. I just know that something.
But somebody's got the receipts, and it kind of makes sense.
It was like right when he started playing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he got benched, and that was like a huge deal because you're a bad team already. Why would you bench what? It's kind of like, why won't the Cowboys play Trey Lance? Like, let's just see. Mm-hmm. It's Bryce Young. You put the number 1 overall draft pick on him, and you traded away everything to get that number 1 overall draft pick, right? So, isn't that how it worked?
What?
Yeah, they moved up to get him.
Chicago.
Yeah, and they gave him what ended up being the next year's
Caleb.
Ended up being Caleb, which most people were saying at the time that's just terrible. You would never make that trade. You would never trade Caleb for Bryce Young. The point is then he was so bad that they actually benched him for Andy Dalton. That's certainly nobody you think is going to help you in the future. Andy Dalton got in a car accident, and that's why Bryce Young got the starting job back.
Boy, I completely missed that.
Andy Dalton and his family got in a car accident, and then he did not play that weekend. It was like on a Saturday or a Friday.
It's with Panthers quarterbacks, and didn't Cam get in a big motorcycle accident type thing?
Well, anyway, that's the only reason Bryce Young is back, and then he's been playing great since then.
And it didn't look good when Andy Dalton's first game he threw 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like he did awesome.
That's right. I forgot.
Right. Yeah. Like, hey, the Panthers might not be that bad of a team.
Yeah.
Okay,
I just don't know how they're getting by without Jonathan Mingo.
Let's give you a boy. What a revenge game that'll be for Mingo.
Yeah,
that could be the secret weapon.
Get all the feature packages.
Let's give you one more Butcher cliche, and then we'll lead into our last segment.
We're going to keep going. We're going to keep fighting, and if we come up short, we come up short. But I'm still not done. I can't fold over. I can't bend.
Okay.
I feel like that's a Butcher cliche, but I'm not really even sure what
We're not just going to fold. We're not just going to bend over.
I can't fold over. I can't bend. I refuse. So I'm going to keep going. Let's take some final questions from the chat.
Yeah. Yep. That's a nice way. Who would just defer a big portion of the back half of their show to just viewer mail and comments from the audience?
Final question from the chat. Final questions. Here's one.
Have you ever wished you played baseball? Honestly,
dude.
With this, does he say with this Juan Soto deal?
Hold on.
Okay. Honestly, no, because I did play baseball a little bit, but
it's boring.
baseball's hard. It's one of the hardest sports in the world.
Tell me,
man.
brother.
It's one of the hardest sports in the world, man. I didn't cut it off, but he did go on to mention Juan Soto's contract and that he's going to have his son play baseball.
Okay. I know where
I should
where
do
his head
that
is.
next time I do this. I'll just mark every money comment because he does make 4 or 5 money comments throughout this.
Yeah.
Thoughts on why so someone was asking him about Belichick coaching in college, and he has thoughts on why Belichick should not coach in college.
I don't think kids care about coaching anymore. They care about the money. They care about
money comment. They, not him,
Yeah.
but the kids these days.
Generation is
not
lost.
present company.
the opportunity. It's hard to be mad at them, but it's just not the same. I think the best coaching job right now is probably NFL or high school football.
So he thinks college is bad because the kids just want money. And one more for you. He just theorized on, I don't know how they got into talking about Puka Nacua, but he did. And he has a theory on why Puka is so good.
You know, I think Puka got superpowers, man. He got Puka, like real deal superpowers. Like, people don't understand. I think, you know, he's an island guy.
Here we go.
You know, I think he might have some type of, you know, witchcraft voodoo out there that people don't know about. Because some of the catches he makes is pretty voodoo-ish. So,
That's
he's an island guy.
low-key racist.
That's what I was going to say.
yeah.
Could you say that?
And awesome.
Not low key at all. It's very.
Well, yeah, I mean, he didn't get real in depth with it. He's just saying, man, I don't know what those guys have going on. Dancing around fire. That's something weird. I have a little bit from Stephen Jones for you if you'd like to hear some of that.
Sure.
Saw some of this going a bit viral yesterday. And it was at the NFL League winter meetings where they get together and talk about rules and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he was asked about a whole host of things, one of which was Belichick. And I don't know. I never thought he was coming here, but I wanted it to happen for you. But
I want it to happen for Cowboy fans so they could see winning football again.
Yeah. I don't know that he's still capable of doing what he's always done before, but who knows? He was asked about McCarthy, though. This is going to be the question, constantly asked.
You assess the job Mike has done dealing with all of the things that have happened.
I think he's done outstanding. I mean, our guys are playing hard. And, he's got them competing. I mean, that was a tough game the other night, but guys played hard. I mean, I thought our defense did a great job against two of the best players in the NFL, and Burrow and Chase. And Cooper did a nice job,
He can't say Cooper either, by the way.
Protecting the ball and keeping us in it. Rico did a great job running it. The guys are competing. Hats off to Mike. You look around the league sometimes and see a lot of teams that start like that, and they're thinking about next year. But Mike's got everybody focused on winning each and every game.
Go ahead. You made a decision on his future.
We're talking about the next game.
Okay, so that's what we're doing on that one. We're talking about the next game. He went on to, he was asked about, hey, how much do all these injuries you've had matter, and is that a big part of this? You got to factor that in when you're looking at McCarthy. Of course, gave that's part of the deal. But the really interesting answer he gave is, we know they did absolutely nothing in free agency, nothing, and it's really showing up. And then they tried to sell us on the idea that them being all in simply means that they retained two players who would have been here either way. Well, I guess CD, but still, they just kept their own at full market freight. So last year was a reset year. According to Steven, it's not over.
At home. Do you take a look yet at next year and where you guys are and restructure this and do this? Is that an ongoing process?
Yeah, we're always working behind the curtains, thinking about those type of things.
Is this
everything we're doing right now, how it affects next year? I mean, that's Will and myself, Adam, Jerry, always taking a look at that.
Is it any more challenging this
Coaches are worried about winning a game.
Is this offseason more challenging than it was this past offseason in any way?
No. I think we knew we were going to have a challenge this year and next year.
And 25 coming up.
Yes. That was going to be really, really tight. You know, because we still have some money left over from some guys who aren't here today. And you're going to have, you know, some other guys that won't be here in the future that you still got their cap count. So,
is that the carryover money that you guys have when you look at deals for the voids that are coming due on Dak and
some of that there. All right, guys, I got to go.
What did he say? Really tight?
Really tight. Thank you to John Machota for that audio, by the way. Yeah, he's prepping you for it's going to be exactly like last year. We're so tight. You know, we're really just we're under the gun here.
It's disappointing. It's extremely disappointing.
I mean, you may forget that they're paying Zeke $6 million in dead money this year. Tyron $6 million dead money this year. Gallup 4.3.
So in addition to Zeke's, actually he's making the league minimum or whatever, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
but that's all part of it.
Yeah,
you know, Philly is also paying team players dead money.
Right. And the way that they did Dak,
Baltimore dead money.
Plenty of you can do it.
They've also both got big high paid quarterbacks and at least in Philly's case, high paid wide receiver as well. I don't think Baltimore has any of those.
No, but they do have some other highly paid players.
Yeah.
Some very highly paid players.
So yeah, that's how it is. It's called the way it is, and other teams are more willing to spend to the real cap. And the Cowboys are not.
And when you do it, as Ben Baby was talking about the other day, you do it and you are guaranteeing you have to pay that money, but the way the Cowboys do it is probably it's just about they don't want to have a year where they take anything approaching a loss. So they're like, the point is they're just going to do the same thing this offseason. They're going to lose some guys, and then they're going to tell you they're going to replace them in the draft, and they won't. Well, they'll try, but this is what it is now.
And I don't get it because, you know, you look at all these cap tables and they have room. Like, are they just trying to roll it over for the next year?
Yeah, because right now Dak has an $89 million cap hit. So they're obviously going to have to work that around. I'm not super confident. And, you know, the backdrop of all this is, okay, well, does that mean you just bring back McCarthy again and let him ride out the fail? Because otherwise, okay, you're going to bring in a new head coach. You're also going to say, we're not really going to give you anything either. So good luck in your first year. The team's going to be roughly what we had last year plus the draft. Doesn't seem good, guys. Seems like they're behind the curve a little bit yet again.
And everything that they say hamstrings them, like dead money or being tied against the cap, well, that's everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is not a problem unique to the Cowboys, but other teams kind of figure it out.
Yeah. Involves a little risk. You probably don't want to end up being the Saints.
Who, looking at next year, they have to somehow come up with $70 million to get underneath the cap.
Yeah, the Saints go in a crazy, crazy-ass direction and level in it. But there's something in between New Orleans and Dallas. You really don't want to be the extreme on either side, and it's really frustrating. Feels like Dak's prime is over. Don't laugh at
Definitely.
me.
I mean,
he was an MVP candidate last year, though.
But after another significant injury,
yeah,
he wasn't the player he was before anyway. He was an MVP candidate, but so was Brock Purdy. When you have all your weapons around you and you have a humming team, that will elevate certain quarterbacks to MVP level when they're actually not. Brock Purdy is no MVP. He never will be. I love the value on it, on the number.
Yeah.
But Baker is more of an MVP than either one of those two guys. Because Baker has been showing that he can do some stuff with no one around him.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the big key. Like Lamar Jackson obviously has done that for years. I think by taking away Diggs, you know, Josh Allen is showing this year that, yeah, I'll just carry this thing on my own. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with being a really good starting quarterback like Goff or Purdy or Dak.
No.
But they're not. There is another level, and those guys aren't really close to that.
Nope. and you see Zach Martin probably hanging him up, and with Tyron in another city, it's sad for me, guys. It's sad.
I don't mean to laugh at you. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
You do.
Dak is a dork, and I'm tired of it.
How about before we break, we do some Mavs, and we say it's brought to us by Tecovas.
Tecovas.
Did I say it weird?
You said it kind of weird, but I think
Tecovas.
everybody knew where your head was
It's
at.
got a T like Texas.
It does.
Yeah, bought some.
You
for
did?
Father-in-law.
I did as well.
It's going to make a really good gift.
Are you saying this is a good Christmas gift idea?
It's a great Christmas gift idea. It's boots, folks. It's boots. It's boots. It's boots. They're built to last. They're built to impress. Right now, get 10% off at tecovas.com. That's TECOVAS/DumbZone. And, I'm not like a huge cowboy boot guy myself, but I'll sell it to you like this. They make boots that I like wearing. They make boots that don't make you feel like you're cosplaying Taylor Sheridan's show or something. They're cool. These are actually cool boots. You can go into they have a store here. You can go in and check out if you want to, but great for online orders there. They've got all the options for you. They can customize your fit for you at tecovas.com/dumbzone, where you will get 10% off. Awesome gift-giving idea, tecovas.com/dumbzone. Playing a little 3D chess here. Mavs are off until Sunday now.
Yep.
Don't have to play an extra game if they would have advanced to the final. So building in a little rest here by getting bounced from the Emirates Cup in the quarterfinal round in a game that they were never in, despite only being down, I think, 5 at half. They got their faces stomped by Oklahoma City.
They just shot the piss out of the three. That was insane.
Oklahoma City did, but the numbers are not that different, are they?
Maybe
they both shot 40 and 41%.
Maybe it was just the eyeball test. But
well, they
took
took 14 more.
Yeah, and
Oklahoma City took a lot of threes, but
and they had shot 30 at the half or something crazy.
Yeah, it was a tough night. No PJ, no Hardy, no Maxey. The PJ thing is a big deal, but that's not an excuse. Their 2 losses now since he came back are with him out, or they've lost one game, the overtime game since he's been back, and now this one he's been out. So, but Dallas beat Oklahoma City without Luka a couple weeks ago. Now this time Caruso was back, Hartenstein was back.
Were you saying last year you'd rather have Oklahoma City moving forward? Like, would you trade full rosters?
Of course.
And I wonder, are you still thinking that?
Yeah.
The way the Mavs have redone their roster, because you still have Luka.
Still have Luka.
And I still think Luka's better than
Shea.
Yeah, for
I do
sure.
too.
I mean, again, he's one of those extra one little level up,
But I mean, even making Chet the wild card, like you never know if he's going to play or not. That roster's incredible. There's about 3
and they
rosters.
probably still have a bunch of first rounders.
They do.
Okay, and the Mavs don't have any of that. And
Right.
that's where they can trade those.
Yeah.
To, enhance what they've got.
Yeah, I mean they have enough picks to keep swinging, but the better Jalen Williams, that guy's an absolute problem. Well, he's scoring like 20 a game or something, isn't he? He's 21 a game.
Well, I know last year he was the best pure shooter in the league. When you combine threes, twos, free throws, just shooting the basketball, he was the best.
You got a 24-year-old there making scoring 22 a game. Chet scores 17 and basically averages a double-double. They're really good, and they were without Chet the other night. The Mavs were without a couple guys, and it was exactly what it looked like whenever they were losing to good teams in the stretch where they lost 4 or 5 in a row. They turned the ball over a ton, and Luka was very at fault for a lot of that. He's way too in love with the full court pass on the inbound these days because it looks cool. Gets Followell super excited, but
and he doesn't have to run down there.
That probably doesn't hurt. I mean, they work a good enough amount of time to where there's enough cool ones, but 50% completion on those is not good because the other team has the ball now. It's not like it goes out of bounds usually. It's usually he tries to keep it inbound so he never overthrows it. He underthrows it, and now it's just an easy bucket the other way. Dort gives him all kinds of problems. And let me tell you something. Make your cursing mark. Fuck that guy. I hate watching Lou Dort play basketball.
The Dorture Chamber?
I love it. I love that, but I'm tired of this.
You can just foul the shit out of somebody and call it the torture chamber.
The first foul on Dort, I think, was at 3.5 minute mark in the third quarter. And he's been guarding Luka the entire game. Like, they were matching their minutes, almost step for step. Luka's first trip to the free throw line was 3:30 left in the third. I don't know. They didn't lose because they had a pretty tight grip on the whistle, but it is frustrating. The player like that can be a problem for Luka. And Kyrie didn't give you a whole bunch in relief. And now Luka did have some dimes. He just barely brought the ball inside the three-point line. It's just an off night. Turnovers, offensive rebounding sucked. That was not a good. That was the worst game they've played in a long while.
I obviously taken like Mavs have taken a backseat with the Cowboys going on, but I did not know. Like, is Omax getting some regular rotation? Or was
As of last game.
Okay. Made a couple corner threes, which was cool.
Made one last game, too. So Najee was back last night, but that was his first game back.
Which he looked awesome.
He was the best player. He was Dallas' best player for most of the game. So with Najee out, you get a little Omax, and then last night with Maxey out and Hardy out, everything was crunch. And PJ, obviously, at that spot. Omax scares the heck out of me. I don't like watching him play basketball.
Yeah, he makes me nervous.
Super nervous. But he has been okay in spot duty. So now they're off until Sunday. But I watched this game. Obviously, I did make it to halftime. I told you guys I was excited to stay up and watch it for an 8:30 tip. I made it to half. But when I watch it on replay, I'm getting all the in-arena stuff, right? So the bits they do, the free throw 3-point layup contest, and the kiss cam. Again, we're in Oklahoma City here. Very loud crowd, very good crowd, but let's just be honest, a very weird crowd.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody who's ever been there can tell you that. So they had something in the arena that made me laugh, because typically what you get from in-arena songs, it's rap music or dance music. But Oklahoma City, and I kind of remember this from my days, you may have heard I was in a band. The pop punk thing was really popular up there, because pop punk would be really popular in areas that were kind of upper tier suburbs, but not close to real cities that had urban culture. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if you were in Prosper type area or Salina, it was very popular. Like there was money, which you needed to play in those bands, but also you weren't near black people.
Okay.
Big in Utah.
Very big in Utah. Some of the biggest bands in that scene came from Provo and Orem.
Okay. Oh, yeah, Seattle area.
Seattle is dirtier. So you need a clean place to produce this type of music. And I haven't heard a new song like this in 20 years.
Okay.
But in Oklahoma, they run a video showing cool things you can do in Oklahoma, like riding ATVs or looking at birds. And they wrote this song with it.
We are a state of thunder.
Where the wind comes sweeping down the plains, and the waving wheat, your shirt's
Born for Soup, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Green Day.
Yeah.
Every night, my honey lemon I sit alone and talk and watch your heart make it.
I'm sorry. You do what? Because at this point,
Sit alone and what?
At this point, they showed a bird, making me think they just described one of their recreation options, watching a hawk.
Every night, my honey lemon I sit alone and talk and watch your heart making lazy circles in the sky.
Making lazy cycles in the sky?
Or circles, yeah. You're just watching a bird? What is
this? What we have to do in Oklahoma?
The Oregon Trail? Like you're at an NBA game, dude.
We look up in the sky, and that's what we have to do.
There you go. We just kind of watch a hawk come to Oklahoma.
You know we belong to the web, and the land we belong to is great. And when we say, oh yeah, bye, oh yeah, we're only saying you're doing fine, Oklahoma.
not great.
So this is their in-arena entertainment?
And so the video plays for about the first 35 seconds of it on my feed, but that's the video that's playing in the arena on the Jumbotron.
Yeah.
From there, they cut. You might actually hear it here. They cut back to the arena, and there are people doing Oklahoma. Like, this is apparently plays at the end of every first quarter.
Dude, and they're going to have the best team for a decade.
It's looking that way. Also, I just want to zero in here. They have to use okay, like you're doing okay, but it's not. It doesn't sound great. Hey, we're okay. And then to say like,
well, they're using it because
they are, but they also said we're doing fine.
You're doing fine, Oklahoma.
That's fine.
Oklahoma, okay.
Instead of we're doing great,
right?
Yeah. I mean, we're still in Oklahoma after all. How good can we be doing?
It kind of fades up, but yeah, that really made it was perfect. It was a perfect. Perfect Oklahoma City bit of culture.
That's
there.
a perfect song for Chet Holmgren.
I know. I know. So good times for the Mavs. They're all right.
They're all right. They're okay. They're doing fine.
My very special guest, Coach Bill Belichick of the Cleveland Browns. Bill, welcome to the show.
Nice to be here, Mike.
Oh, thank you. And I know we have a very special recipe today, one you've held secret for many years, but you're going to share it with us today.
Right, it's the BBPBJ.
BBPBJ, what is that?
Bill Belichick's peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
How divine. I see we have all the ingredients here for you, so I'm just going to stand back. You're the master of this. Let you go and follow you as you make the sandwich.
Well, we'll start with the raisin bread.
Why raisin bread, Bill?
Well, my mother used raisin bread.
Oh, mothers are divine, aren't they?
Oh, they sure
They're
are.
just the best.
She made the best ones.
Yeah. Oh, and chunky peanut butter. That's quite a risk because the shards of peanuts can tear the flesh of the bread. It's quite an advanced technique.
Well, it has a little more crunch to it, and that really gives you a little extra energy. But the key to it, Mike, is to spread peanut butter on both sides of the bread.
Oh, why?
So that the jelly doesn't leak through in the sandwich. And put the jelly right here in the middle.
That's why you're the head coach. It's forward thinking like that. It's just I've never seen that. Oh, wonderful. And you spread it out nice and evenly, and by the end of the day, it's not leaked through. You can have a nice sandwich.
Right. This jelly won't leak through because of peanut butter on both sides of the bread.
Wonderful. Now you're going to cut it, I assume. You'll cut diagonal or
no, actually, I like to cut out so at least dog bone.
Oh, that's wonderful.
You're listening to The Dumb Zone.
Hey, I'd like to promote DZTV, Channel 27, tonight and every night, if you consider every night Monday through Friday, which I do because I don't even go to sleep on the weekends.
No. That's what you work for, my man.
So check it out. You can check out the Fox local app, so you can see it that way on the TV. You know what? I was talking to John yesterday, and I meant to say I was going to tell him I'm going to load that app up on my phone, and I just haven't done it yet to see if you could watch DZTV on our phone. Wouldn't that be exciting?
It really is, and you can do that. You can do that on your phone. You can also go to dumbzonemerch.com and get yourself a calendar.
You talk about good Christmas gift ideas.
Fantastic. There's some good stuff in there.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's fine.
You haven't even seen it. You don't even know what's in it.
Well, I'm just doing a little follow-up on the whole Oklahoma City.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's trying to have some fun.
No, that's on us.
So,
we're not at your level.
Big, giant Thursday mailbag, which most shows would do on Friday, but we consider that a mail-in, so we really prep hard and do it on a Thursday for you. Is brought to you by Factor Meals.
Factor Meals.
I got a shipment of that the other day.
What a lifesaver.
They're great. Because I'm a food prepper.
I know.
I like to eat a similar thing every day for lunch. But now, what if I could have the food prep, but I didn't have to do all the work?
Yeah.
That's where Factor Meals come in.
And still eat healthy?
35 different meals, more than 60 add-ons to choose from. So you could eat something different every single meal. It's great.
Yeah, there's a couple that pretty much I get every time.
Yeah.
Like I've got my favorites, and then I mix the rest of them up. Look, I don't know how they want me to say this, but I'm not a guy who really likes vegetables, okay? I like the vegetables that come with the Factor Meals. I don't know what it is. The broccoli, I really like it. The green beans, really like it. It's good food, good portions. Factormeals.com/50dumbzone. That is factormeals.com/50dumbzone. You'll get 50% off your first box plus free shipping.
I think it's Dumbzone 50.
This one says 50 Dumbzone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
New copy.
New copy. So 50 Dumbzone.
My bad.
And
go try them both.
It makes it super, super easy. They deliver the meals to you. You microwave them 2 minutes. You got a meal there. It's super good if you have kids, if you're on the go, lunch, whatever. I'm telling you, this will improve your quality of life. Factor Meals.
Oh yeah, wait a minute, Uncle Hot Meals.
Prophets and Outlaws, the official sounder of the Big Giant Thursday mailbag. We should hook up with those guys again.
That was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
So, a lot of follow-up stuff in the Big Thursday Giant mailbag, which we don't do on Friday. This one is not a follow-up, though, but it's something I've gotten from others, besides Grant, who says, please tell Dan to use his mute button when he coughs. Be a professional. I don't know. As you guys know, I haven't been sick for years, except for the COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And now I got sick, 2 weeks ago? I've been coughing for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going on.
It happened to me, too.
I might have the aid.
Just one?
I'm holding one back right now for people.
And we don't have mute buttons.
Is that the problem?
That's one thing about not being in a
one?
studio.
I could have one?
Yeah.
Couldn't I get those headsets that you just pull it up and you wouldn't hear anything?
Those are wild.
Yeah, those are like $500.
These are like a couple hundred?
Yeah, 200.
Yeah, I was dealing with the cough for a couple weeks. I did a round of antibiotics thinking I knew better than the doctor, and they didn't really work. I just kind of had to wait it out, and it was 2 weeks. You're like a troop, basically.
Dear Mr. Peanut, the baby in the TV show Dinosaurs, you were telling us we have to watch this show called Dinosaurs.
Not the mama.
Which was on in the 90s?
Yeah, early 90s.
Was voiced by Kevin Clash, who also voiced Elmo.
Oh, no. That Elmo?
Then he went on a 6-year hiatus from acting after 2 charges of sexual abuse of minors. He eventually beat the charges because the statute of limitations ran out. He later made conflicting statements that nothing happened, but that what did happen was between consenting adults. Happy Christmas from Justin. So he Kemp spin Dinosaurs for you.
That's tough. I mean, now that I think about it, the baby does have Elmo voice. It's kind of the same voice. Baby, much funnier than Elmo, though. The baby's great.
Stan will Kemp spin Superman for us. He addresses it to grocery store receptionist Shaken Blake and welcome back Jake Kemp. Let's see. He tells us some nice stuff about Jared Sandler. We don't have to read that.
Mm-hmm.
And says, I was doing intense research on Christopher Reeve on Wikipedia, but his Kemp spin is that Christopher Reeve was 16 years old dating a 23-year-old.
Nice.
Is that really a Kemp spin? If he was 23 dating a 16-year-old, that's more the Kemp spin. The other way, it's like, you are Superman.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Luckiest actor in the world award. No, I don't know. I mean, it was a different time. He was probably a pretty strapping 16-year-old, so I'm not even mad at her for this one.
Yeah. He's Christopher Reeve. Jake was right is the subject line of this email.
Surprised it's being read.
Look how Jake, now he's quiet, like, go ahead and read
He's
it.
intently listening.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Senor Coochie Lover. Went to the Cowboys-Bengals game Monday night, and the majority of the music being played during breaks was Mexican music. The Cowboys are fully aware of their Hispanic fan base, and the majority of the demographic was heavily Hispanic. Not surprised. They tend to be more loyal even when this team is having a bad year, and it's also a good excuse to drink. As a Mexican myself, I'm allowed to say that.
Okay, good.
We sure do love our beer and our trash-ass Cowboys from Alfredo.
Well, I'm not allowed to say this, but if Alfredo has sort of opened the door for me here, I'm going to tell you also that there were a lot of tickets available for that game at cheaper prices than normal. So you've got real fans in there.
Had a couple of follow-ups on Asians versus Indians.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got into this. I'm sure it's because I messed something up, but Brevig.
No, I think you asked me if Indians are Asian.
Yeah, and then I was thinking of my affinity lately for the hot Indian woman, but in my head I was thinking Asian, and then isn't that the same thing? Maybe.
Yes, and I also
it kind of is.
Blew your mind by telling you that a lot of people in Russia are technically born in the continent of Asia.
So one thing is that Brevig says he's been watching a hit show, not as good as The Boys, but on Apple TV Plus called Slow Horses. Gary Oldman is in there, and there's a bunch of stuff there where British folk. Anyway, they said they had to chase an Asian woman, but they were chasing an Indian woman. And Brevig said he was confused by that. But apparently that British folk don't differentiate between Asians from India and Asians from China or Japan. They will just say that's an Asian. According to this television show.
Well, yeah.
But then Derek emailed. He said, Dan hit on a frequent area of disagreement within my household on this one. And his subject line was Oriental versus Asian. Do we now think Oriental is that not proper to say?
A slur?
Yeah.
You don't hear it too much anymore.
Yeah. He says Oriental conveyed a very specific description. It was a useful word. Now I gotta say I have a fetish for Asian gals, but not Russian, Hindu, or Pan-Pacific Islander.
Yeah, you don't want to be looked at as a weirdo. Yeah, because Oriental very clearly meant East Asia. It meant the Asia you think of when you think of Asia, right? But now you could be grouped in as some sort of sicko who likes the whole continent. I just want to know about these household disagreements. Like, why is that coming up so much?
Yeah, that'll be an interesting follow-up next week, maybe.
Yeah, let's go to the call then. We'll see if we have time for another. So we were talking the other day about the aforementioned Jared Sandler and how he's going through the fertility process at a very involved level, where one option for he and his wife is an egg donor, and he got a hit while he was here with us, like a match, like he's on a dating app where, hey, this woman wants to donate her eggs. Now you can look at their profile. Photos of their whole life, their athletic abilities, their musical interest, etc.
Grades.
The obvious ones like health and family history of health. But then my friend Shauna, who is a listener to the show, I've met her a couple times, and I knew that she had a kid. I wasn't totally sure the route she went for fertility, but I knew she wasn't with man. And she hit me up and said, hey, if you ever want to hear about the other side of this, buying the sperm, hit me up. So we did. Hey, Shauna.
Hey, Jake.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's very nice to talk to you.
So wait, you did the same thing as Jared? Like you got to look at profiles of where your sperm came from?
Yeah, so I did the man search instead of the woman search.
Is it the same sort of deal where you go to an agency and you're not out at bars looking at guys that look kind of decent and being like, will you go in this cup for me and let me collect my...
We did all paths, but no, what we ended up doing was, we being me, you just go online, and I ended up using a reputable sperm bank, and they have profiles online, and you just enter your criteria, and the criteria is pretty specific, height, race, hair color, eye color, education level, and of course, depending on who you choose is how you pay. And then you purchase vials based on, what your plans are. And I ended up purchasing 2 separate donors, and then, go from there.
How much?
Well, I spent total, I think, about 75 to 10 grand.
Wait, 75 to 100 grand.
7,500?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not
7,500.
That's not horrible.
Just on the sperm.
But so for
But yeah, I guess
two
then
hot
from
guys' sperm,
I don't know if they're hot. You only get kid pictures. You do not get adult pictures for very obvious reasons, because they don't want you tracking them down and being like, "Hi, honey, here's your child." So you only get child photos.
That's interesting because Jared had adult photos.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I think it's probably different. I don't know if you were looking at surrogate photos, because if you're looking at surrogate, you'd want to know kind of how she looks health-wise because she's carrying your child. But for eggs, I don't know. I didn't know they posted like female because
I think they did, but either way, that's the fact that you have to do the selection process and even select like race. It just feels very, very strange. You got to do it, but yeah.
and you said based on who you choose is based on the money that it costs.
Can you get some dollar store cum?
Yeah.
So you can. So it's education definitely ups the price. So I definitely went with at least a bachelor's education because I have an advanced degree, and then height also affects. And I chose tall because I am 6'1", and I wanted to up the ante. So so that ups the price.
I'm gonna be pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Oh, Blake.
Yeah, well, what do you think? If you want a nice alcoholic over here, you're doing
Is that in the record?
You want a little
You're on the
discount,
bargain bin
discount
too, bud.
High upside, but if
Is
things
that in
go
the
wrong.
record?
So the funny thing, I think the girl side is probably a little bit more strict than the man side because it's all self-reporting on man's side. So I don't know, like, you get to look at it, and you have to purchase packages early, right? So I purchased like 5 different packages so I could look and see their detailed health history. They give like their breakdown on like what they like to do, and then like the bank actually like interviews them and then gives you a write-up of what they think about this person, depending on what he said. He was, nice to speak to, or had a great affect in his voice, or I don't know, those things, whatever. It makes it sellable, I guess. But the interesting thing for me that happened was after I had my child, and that's a whole other story, but I had my child and she was 2, I received an email from the bank, and they notified me that one of the donors that I had purchased had a medical emergency, and the medical emergency related to him having he died on the table under anesthesia because he had an adverse reaction to like one of his chromosomes like something happened that way. And I had freaked out because I was 2 weeks away from getting tubes in my kid's ear, and I was like, oh my God, she's going to die on the table. And it ended up being the other donor that I didn't use to make my daughter. But it definitely is an interesting thing to think about, because if I just met a guy at a bar and got knocked up, I never would have received that email if he'd had a health emergency down the road, because, they at least keep you impacted on things like
Wow.
that. So
that's very interesting. So
it's definitely weird.
The other embryo, that was his? Does it exist?
So I didn't.
I don't want to get into a political issue here, but
frozen sperm, right?
Yeah. Well, no,
an embryo.
I've got a whole issue on that. Yeah. No, I'm worried about that right now because I have some frozen that I need to address.
Frozen embryos, or frozen just sperm or eggs, or you have frozen embryos?
So currently I have 8 eggs frozen and 3 embryos frozen. And so I have to figure out, I've gotten too old now, I think, to actually have another child, plus I'm on my own. And one child has been way more than I expected, even though she's perfect and amazing. But on your own, it's a lot. And so now I have to deal with that. And so I'm trying to figure out what I can do.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure. And being in the lawyer field, I'm a little bit worried about it. And so I don't exactly know what we're going to do.
Maybe we can auction them off here.
I mean, that is, the embryos are definitely a no-go because they were genetically abnormal, and so I definitely have to, figure out what to do with those. But I mean, my eggs, who knows? Maybe Jared wants a tall girl. Who knows?
Yeah, in fact he does, because he's he has already told us that.
Dude, what if we make a baby?
Yeah,
would we be one of the first podcasts?
That would be a story for sure.
You could would you give some to us, and then Blake could raise us a little intern?
Look, I know she's a hard worker.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is
That's
very
right.
successful
Yeah.
professional.
Sweet. So I want to go back to
He's
something
a lawyer. Who knows?
you said earlier when you said a reputable sperm bank. Does that mean
Yeah.
you've run into shady ones, and is it just a guy in a van?
Yeah, at the Minyards parking lot or something.
Yeah.
So you Google, you definitely do your research. There are sperm banks. The weird part about this whole area of the world that we live in now is there really is no laws associated with this area. There's best practices. There's established groups that, set out rules and regulations, but there is no actual law. So at the end of the day, enforcement of the items that you're trying to do is pretty much non-existent. So you're kind of in this very gray, nebulous area as to kind of what Jared was talking about, like, again, with surrogacy. If she decides she's going to keep that baby at the end of the day, if you're in a certain state, you just spent maybe $80,000 to $100,000, and your child is going to, your genetically related child is going to be raised by someone else. And so it's very, now that I've done it and I'm out of it, I can't believe I did, especially knowing the law and the things that I've looked into. But I think it will be more regulated the more we go forward, not regulated the way I want it to be, maybe right now, maybe down the road it'll get better. But it is definitely the wild, wild west. You can buy sperm on Craigslist. You don't have to, it's not illegal to sell sperm out of the back of a van.
If you did that, though, like how do you get it? We recently had a story about two prisoners who were just passing it back and forth in a paper towel and an air
God
duct.
bless. They saved themselves. When you said that, Jake, I was like, I feel you on that, sir. If only I could have done that. So for me, they sent it directly to the doctor. You could choose to have it delivered to your house and attempt the turkey baster style.
That's what I was going to ask. Do people actually do that?
They offer the option, so I guess it is technically done. When I spoke to my fertility doctor, obviously she was like, "You can do it." I haven't had much success in it, and considering you're here right now because you're of the older generation at this point, you're geriatric. We don't think it's the same as if you were young and you wanted to do it, at home with a turkey baster, but you can try it. I chose not to. I felt like a little distance from my purchase was probably better. But you can have it delivered to your home and try it that way. So it's it's going to be very odd now. My child just turned 3. We're going to have a conversation about it at some point. They have books and you can read about it, but I'm going to have to explain to her, mommy really, really wanted to be a mommy and she spent a lot of money and you're 85 in the hole. So you owe me a lot of money, kid.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I'm not going to hold it against her, but, yeah, it's crazy. It's amazing. I love that it's out there. I think we're going to be really surprised going forward. Women aren't, I saw something on some newscast that was talking about that women are less likely to get married now than they were 10 years ago because now they have jobs that they can support themselves and they don't need men. And now that you can buy sperm online, what's the point of a man? So, I think it's going to be a really interesting roller coaster that we're going to go on. I'm a little worried about the next 4 years and what that means and what people have been saying. But who knows?
Well, the lawmakers are probably they're almost done with this flag planting thing, so they can
they'll get to that.
Focus their attention towards.
That's crazy.
Trump.
Can you tell? I know we got to go, but does your daughter look like the pictures you had of the donor as a child?
So thankfully, she came out looking pretty much identical to me. So it's not like, abnormal where I was like, oh my goodness. But now that I'm pulling out you get 3 photos. It's not, and all 3 of them were him doing sports, baseball, basketball, and soccer. So yay. I think he's probably 7 or 8 in these photos. We're not talking, but now that I'm looking at some of her features compared to mine, I'm seeing a little bit more maybe of his nose, or his ears a little bit more than mine. Maybe it's definitely something you look at a lot more, I think, closely because I don't have a lot to go on. And so I definitely blame everything she does bad on him.
Yeah.
Like her temper tantrums right now, definitely his fault.
Yep.
Loser. I'm definitely about that. But yeah, no, I did choose someone that sounds kind of creepy, but that looked kind of like me in the sense that like strawberry blonde hair, blue eyes, that kind of, look.
Yeah.
I wasn't going for like sibling, but I was at least going for somewhat similar, I guess.
We're going
But it's a very yeah.
This is borderline pedophilia, though. I mean, because the only people you can choose, you have to look at little kids' pictures to choose the father.
I will say,
like,
it
yes,
is
this
very odd.
7-year-old
They
is
do
hot.
that.
Hey, hot stuff.
No, but you don't want.
I'd
you
love this
definitely
kid's
don't wanna
cum.
Well, so they put on there because my doctor was explaining it to me, and I hadn't thought about this, but she was like, you don't want women who may be feeling lonely and wanting to have kids to look at a picture and think, ooh, I would date that guy, right? An old enough photo that's like, I could make a family with that man.
Yeah.
Because then you get the people who are like, this is my family, and then tries to track them down and is like, we're a family. And this guy's got like 3 kids and is, established. And he's like, I did that when I was 21 and trying to make money so I could buy beer and, get some pot for Saturday night. Like, I didn't do it to
that is
make a
an
family.
interesting one of the self-selection process of the pool, as it were. Is nobody who's doing great is donating semen.
And mine was actually based out of California, so all of them were either struggling actors or some sort of something going that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I did the open sperm purchase. So at 18, she received some sort of contact information from the individual who donated, and it's very broad as to what that means. It could be an email address, a phone number, or just a letter. But now what's really interesting is you can go online and take her donor number and you can enter it into a website, and I can find out if she has half siblings.
Ooh.
And she'll be able to across the country. She may have, I haven't done it because it's kind of creeping me out and I don't want her to haven't, but it's at some point we're going to have to, because think about this. She's going to have to ask every man that she dates, hey, do you know your dad?
Yeah. Wow.
That's going to have to be an opening question. Now, for most men, you would think they would not have a million kids, but at the same time, it's a lot easier, allegedly, to make a baby out of a sperm bank donor than it is to run around and get laid, and unless you're Nick Cannon, I guess. But so, she's going to have to, that's going to be her opening line. They're supposed to limit, again, because I used a reputable sperm bank, they're supposed to limit the number of samples that are sent to certain geographical areas, so that if he had 10 samples in his bank and 2 people from Texas chose them, they would geotag it, if we're talking loving geotag, if they're geotagging it for restricting of Texas, right? So no longer. But who's to say that works right?
And people move, yeah.
And people move,
that's crazy.
It's going to be a wild ride.
Well, from the Dumb Zone, we just want to tell you how happy we are for you. That's the main thing.
Thank you. There's a whole nother story as to how bad getting her went. I lost 2 and it was awful, but she's my miracle baby and she's amazing. And I'm so thankful I did it. And if anybody wants to reach out to me, if they're you do have female listeners, I know you guys don't believe it. But if there's any females who are out there that would like to talk to me about the process and how I did it at 35. I was old. They were calling me geriatric. It went badly. COVID hit the whole time. It was an absolute disaster. I had emergency surgery, 17 weeks. She was 6 weeks early. But I'm happy to talk to anybody. I'm on Twitter. Hit me up. I'm on Sky or whatever it is. I'm not trying to sell me or anything, but it can be scary if you're alone and you don't know what you're doing. I'm happy to talk to anybody about it, and I'll give you all the nitty gritty if you really want it.
Very cool. It's very nice to talk to you.
All right, guys.
All right, there she goes.
Talk to you later.
Bye, Shauna.
Cum purchaser Shauna.
Yeah. Let's see. Bad bit. Hello, President Pum Pum. A coworker named their dog Micah Pawsons. I think pets named after current athletes is a terrible bit that ages like milk, especially when Micah signs with the Eagles.
Yep.
I consult the Dumb Zone from Darian McBrayer. P.S. If you need an expert in the field of echocardiography, let me know.
That's a good bit. That's a good bit.
Yeah, I know a couple dogs. One was named after Rugnet Odor, which didn't do well. The other one was...
Was that Joe's dog? In college?
That would fit.
Anchor word, Dear Gestapo of the Gash, death knell.
Yeah, what's a knell? Took me a long time to figure out that wasn't nail. It's like a drum, right? It's just a sound, but you never hear it.
Sound the death knell. Okay, I guess I've heard that.
Knell, Knello, I believe just means a drum or a beat, but it doesn't. When do you ever... this beat, sick knell.
690 Scene jumps in. Hearing Dan read not allowed to improvise ads for vodka sounds like a bit because it's so jarring. I love it. Can you please make me the financial advisor for dog people? Blake, thank you for your courage in avoiding the ridiculousness of the elf on the shelf. What did you say? You don't do that?
I'll never do that.
I would threaten to cancel my sub and overall undying DZ support based on my formerly fearless leaders being such wusses. But I'm in way too deep. I'm sure they will soon be wearing dresses while playing flag football and getting their steps in. Hey, Jake, have I ever mentioned I went to West Point? That's Army, who is going to get destroyed by Tulane.
Oh, ouch.
That was a tough one.
Wow, you really uber-fluted that one.
Uber-flute. Yeah, that was what you had there. You've seen it a couple times, right? It happened when Texas beat Georgia. Tulane gave no Fs about that game. I didn't see that coming, and their quarterback entered the portal like the next day.
Dear Slit Sommelier, any chance you can send me the acoustic or piano version of the Dumb Zone intro with no words? I want to walk down the aisle to it at my wedding on New Year's Eve.
What?
So he's talking about, let's see, do I have it here? Yes, this is the original that Jameson made us. You've heard it at the end of some shows. The beautiful little, took Caitlin's song and made it into an instrumental. Anyway, he made him a new one. And I've forwarded this on to this guy. But yes, so he will be walking down the aisle.
That's the coolest thing ever.
To the Dumb Zone theme.
When is this wedding?
New Year's Eve.
Wow. It is a beautiful song. Got the strings in there.
He's totally going to get laid.
Oh, no doubt.
How can Jameson do this?
Well, he's a musician.
I know, but he's a goofball. And he's able to make something this nice.
Beautiful?
Yeah.
I bet Lindsey Sterling likes to cut up a little bit.
Oh, he also got actual mail. A Christmas card from Plashley.
Oh, fantastic.
Her dogs.
Dang, this is great.
Oh, we get a little...
Now we got a violin there.
Now I'm hooked. When's the way? I'll be there. When is it?
You're never going to go. And again, it's New Year's Eve for the 5th time.
Well, thank you, Plashley.
Do you guys do Christmas? You do, for sure. I'll bet your wife does. She loves taking pictures.
Yeah, we have before. I don't remember. We definitely didn't do anything new this year. No.
You don't have one out? Like, I might have your Christmas card down. We don't send
You might. I don't have anything to do with it.
We've never sent Christmas cards. And I've always thought, I wish we did, but I'm not going to be the one that does it. That's what the lady does.
I don't mind taking the pictures. They're nice. Sorry you guys hate your families. So do we want to do one more or no?
Sure.
Do you want to? Okay. So we started talking about glory holes and whether they actually exist. Do you remember this, Blake?
Yeah, it was probably the prison story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if he wants his name out there or not. He seems pretty okay with it, but I'm just not going to do it. I'm a week behind, but just popping in to say that I've been to a Czech-style glory hole once. That is the CZECH, Czechoslovakian.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the
Kolache's
pastry
place.
This is where just a woman's ass is protruding through a hole in the wall. What? It was about 6 years ago. Day of, I was told to be there at a specific time, like 7:45, so I'm assuming someone else was there at 7:30, and someone came in behind me, no pun, at 8. But I didn't ask the guy about it. I know it sounds gross and risky, and it probably is for most folk, but I've spent a lifetime chasing experiences, and taboo stuff always entices me. The woman was in her early 40s and pretty, not smoking hot or anything, of course, but her body was banging. Anyway, I walked in the front door, and right there at the end of the hall was a big round ass coming out of the wall. There were nude photos of her hung all around the ass, and an iPad on a table was showing a video of her sucking LSD. After a few short pleasantries, I dropped my pants and started using my hand on her while trying to get hard.
Imagine the pleasantries. Hey, what's going on?
You think they keep McCarthy?
Good to see you. Yeah. Man, it's a little cold out there. I'm glad you guys have the heat on in here. This is great. Yeah.
You think they'll catch the guy?
Yeah.
All
right, let's get to it.
I wasn't sure I'd be able to, meaning
perform,
get erect, but I did. Slipped on the Connie, went to town. It was short and weird, and I do not regret it. They messaged me later to see if I wanted to hang out, but I don't have time for that. So, yeah, it's out there. Just got to know where to look. You just walk in, there's a big round butt, and you just kind of hammer away for a couple minutes, and then you walk out relieved.
I'm very confused by this, and maybe it's just because I've had a day of...
Yeah, you're traumatized right now.
Yep. So, obviously, he had to go looking for it.
Yeah.
Wait, you're traumatized by what?
By watching a girl get nailed 100 times.
Oh, you just did that documentary. So.
Yeah. So they emailed, be here at 7:45, and then she just wanted to hang out after?
Maybe he was special, you know? You hear those stories. You would be the one guy that they're like, hey, at the strip club, they're like, hey, I actually liked you, bud. And he's like, no, I'm above that. That's disgusting. I'm not hanging out with you.
So weird.
Could you date a girl that did porn? Would you rather date a girl that did porn or someone who did a glory hole? I think porn. Because then it's like work. That's professional. You're all tested and all that. But the glory hole thing seems like...
Well, wearing a condom.
I guess you're at work there, too. But
yeah, that's work.
But you're not... It's work with two professionals. Like, you're two actors. You clearly don't have any...
Yeah. I mean, the difference... I mean, one of
Truth.
them, it's going to live forever, and anybody could pull it up. That's the downside of the porno, or Pino, as we call it, side of things is... Your face is out there, your whole body, right? Like, you could still be a mom and be a glory hole person. Not that you can't be a mom and be a porn star or porn actress, but it certainly presents complications. Like, I've seen video of a porn star that was very popular throughout my 30s at, like, Parents' Day at Wisconsin in Madison.
That's like, great.
Yeah, so, I mean...
God, that's hot.
Glory hole, you're not getting that.
I would take glory hole because in porn she's taken some... biggins.
That's true. There is again the selection.
Maybe
there.
the average guy is not
Yeah.
leaving a big imprint down there.
Not a lot of 2 for or 8 for 1s or 100 for whatever in the glory hole games. Give me glory hole.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that as well.
Okay,
it's honest work.
All right. Today's news will be brought to us by Fair Lease. Give them another plug.
Fair Lease.
Big sponsor.
They are good people over there. Fairlease.org. They will make this easy for you. There's a theme among the people that advertise with us, and it's that they want to make your life as easy as possible while giving you cool stuff. That's what Fair Lease does. They'll lease you your next vehicle, help you reduce negative equity. Leasing costs less than buying. Save you some money. You drive now, pay later, 0 money down, no payments for 60 days. They have a massive selection. It's all available for you online there at fairlease.org. 3-step process. You get the consultation. You find a car, and then you get the car. Fairlease.org.
Peace of mind, too, for driving a lease. Hang on before you hit that.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Drive now, pay later. Feliz Navidad.
Yep, that's the... Okay.
Here's Jake with the Dumb Zone News.
Dallas City Council is a bit of a misleading headline here from the local paper of record, the Morning News. Dallas City Council banning vaping in public spaces. They're coming home and they're saying, Mom, I want to vape. So when it says public places, basically it just means they're doubling down on reminding you can't vape in places where you can't smoke. So if you can't smoke at a park, they're saying don't vape at that park. You're outside. It's open air.
That's lame.
Also, no one's
It
going to
does seem kind of lame. Like, I don't mind when you vape in here or anything at all.
Good.
It doesn't
wouldn't matter.
Yeah, no, but
I'm just playing.
Like if you were sitting there smoking a cigarette, that would be quite.
Yeah.
Like the vape doesn't really seem to.
No.
No, and if they're leaning
bother
on
those around
some,
you. Like if you vaped on a plane, I wouldn't care.
Yeah, people do.
Oh, yeah. Have you noticed that?
No,
Have you ever gone to the bathroom to vape
on a plane?
Yeah,
of course.
But they tell you it's like a
Like
huge
bring the plane
fine.
down. Yeah,
misdemeanor or something.
No, you definitely. Now the Lucy's work just fine. At Lucy.co.
What the little
the pouches will get me through.
Okay, yeah. I think I was on a flight where they said you couldn't even do that, and I was like, pfft.
Yeah, they try to tell you that. I'm sure, like, oh, nicotine. And
Firing in a chew.
It's also confusing too, the wording of it, right? Like they'll still say, so even like thinking about being at the HAB, they would say at the start of every class, like no smoking, that includes vaping, and people still did. If you try to be real sly about it, but again, a lot of the type of people that are in rehab are the types who just want to blow a huge cloud to piss you off.
Yeah.
And I don't do that.
Do they have like fat, really full of stuff vape, like a cigar vape? Is there a big vape? Like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you can suck in more than.
Oh yeah, I mean the old way of doing this is like you would buy like a full what Soroy had. It's like a rig with 4 pieces, and you'd buy the juice. Those are disgusting, but that's kind of how it first started. But my point was just that they would say, no, that includes chewing tobacco, no nicotine products, or something about chewing tobacco. And it's like, you know that you didn't cover the pouch in that. They would say no chewing tobacco. I'm like, all right, well, I got a pouch in. So.
Okay.
And it's kind of the same thing here in this morning news
you're
article.
that guy.
Yeah, where they quote. I am.
Doesn't exactly say that.
Where they quote somebody from the American Lung Association who said, unfortunately, the rise of e-cigarettes has led to a significant expansion of tobacco use among our teens. That is not true. It has led to an increase in nicotine use. So even the guy who's in charge is like, tobacco use is out of control.
Okay.
It's not.
Because there's no tobacco in it.
No. And ironically, whenever Juul had all of their flavors banned, again, don't really know why, because I have a cool mint of my vape right here and like a fruit one in my bag, but they banned all the Juul pod flavors other than cool mint and tobacco. That's just tobacco flavored.
So Juul is like a different company, like it's Marlboro.
Yeah.
And then there's another vape
There's
brand.
a million of them.
Like you do.
There's a million
Virginia
of them.
Slims.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I do the lady one.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of a cigarette.
But that's where we thought vape, what's his name? Barron had gotten in trouble, was the Juul.
So they came after Juul because that's the big boy.
But my point is just, if you're worried about this transitioning people to actual cigarettes, I would think the tobacco flavor would be one you don't.
More so than
want out there.
Well,
But
it's
their logic
juicy fruit or whatever. Yeah.
But yeah.
We talked about this a few weeks ago about how they don't want to like market it towards kids. They don't want to like call it bubble gum, even though the edible industry is basically candy.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
I could see it both ways.
But you want to make it taste bad so people don't want to do it.
Yeah, the
for
tobacco
flavor.
thing is more like.
See how gross this is?
Yeah.
Well,
right.
It's more like it's what you're used to. And it's like a Beyond Burger, has to taste like a burger. Although burgers taste good. That's maybe a bad...
I just don't think that many people that are hitting the Juul are actual smokers anymore. But I don't know. The point is they're saying that this is going to be enforced in Dallas now. That if you're within 15 feet of entrance to a public indoor area, they'll be very hard about enforcing it in bars, which means I would stay away from that bar. Dorks. Let's see here. This is a wild story. So I told you guys a couple of weeks ago that I went to go see Moana 2. Not as good. Not as good. it was okay. And maybe on my 1,000th watch, I'll check it out at that point and approve of it as good as number one. But it just wasn't exciting to me. It certainly wasn't exciting enough for me to lower my pants and start jerking off in the theater.
I was going to ask if there were any juicy scenes in there.
Which is what a man in Red Oak, Texas did up in Ellis County. He was arrested. 26-year-old guy arrested for indecency with a child. Now, I don't know the exact particulars of this case, but if you walk into a theater and you whip it out and you start jerking it, and there's a kid or kids in the theater, indecency with a child. It sounds
so
worse,
he was
it?
just alone. He didn't have a child with him.
Correct. At
Okay.
least that's the way it's being described here. That a witness saw the man while leaving the theater with her children after watching Moana 2. When they made contact with the man, police said he appeared to be intoxicated. Meese said he was in the theater but denied any wrongdoing. Also, it's really weird to me. We've talked about this before, but the worst place you want to be is trying to jerk off whenever you're intoxicated. You're just like,
can't get
come
it
on,
going.
we can do it. You can do it, bud. Just give it up. Give it up, my man. Another strange note about this story is it says that police responded to the theater around 1:15 a.m. for an indecent exposure call.
Why is Moana showing that late?
Don't know. I mean, you would get like the late night release of an adult, not like adult content, but of a grown-ups movie.
Yeah,
at
rated R.
9 o'clock or midnight, but
that was always fun to me.
I used to love going to the midnight movie.
Yeah, I went to a handful of them.
Yep.
Dark Knight was sick.
Everybody's totally effed up.
Oh my gosh, I went to that with a buddy. I think he listens, and he got so drunk. We all had some to drink, but you know the thing about The Dark Knight is it feels like that movie's about to end 3 times. And he had fallen asleep around the time of what you think the first ending was, and woke up like an hour later, and he was really confused. He's like, "What the? How is this movie still going?" Like, a lot has happened since you nodded off. But yeah, those were always fun. I might victim blame here a little bit and say if you take your small children to go see a movie at midnight on a Saturday night,
that certainly changes things.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Do you guys get judgy? And maybe Blake is going to feel judged here, but do you get judgy if you see a child that's 2, 3, 4 out somewhere at like 10:30 at night?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, what are you thinking?
I do if they're out at 8.
Yeah.
I'm on both sides. I will judge someone for doing that and then do that
And then
myself.
do it? Yeah.
For sure. But
Yeah.
then, like, I feel like I'm a cool dad.
Yeah, if I have to pop into Walgreens or something, and it's 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock, and I see a kid, I'm like,
I definitely would
might have been asleep for 2
be
hours.
judgy with just how my brother raised his kids. Just all over. And I think he was the same way with me.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because I was too helicopter-y, I'm sure, for them. But my kid was in bed at 7:30, like every night until they were whatever, 8 years old. Because you're setting up all the rules. If you set up their whole life, they're just going to adhere to it. They don't know any different. You're a god. You don't have to. Yeah, but he likes staying up till 11 on the weekend. Guess what? My kids don't, because they've never done it.
Mm-hmm.
Like once outside influences start to get on them, then they'll know that the neighbor is staying up or their friend from school is up, and then they'll start asking. This is my bit on why we never opened presents till noon on Christmas morning. After I woke up. They actually did not complain about that until later when they learned that other kids don't, and then in retrospect they said, "Oh, you ruined our childhood because now they'll rip me for everything." But when they were 6, 7, 5, they didn't complain about not opening presents till noon because it's what we did. Some families open presents like Christmas Eve. So am I terrible for not doing it till 6 a.m.? Whatever.
No, I mean,
they're little. They're just little pieces of clay
minions.
that you can mold. Now they're going to break out of that mold someday. But yeah, I think his kid always slept with him.
Never did that.
Good. And I do get judgy about that, and it sucks because I have friends who are in that spot, and I'm like, dude, why don't you do something about it? They're like, we can't.
But that is, if you get too far down the road, it's impossible to turn around. And I guess that's Dan's point. But yeah, the kid sleeping in your room or co-sleeping, that's a really hard one to get out of.
What is that? Where you sleep in their room? Co-sleeping?
They sleep in the bed with you.
Okay, yeah, so...
Well, that's what I meant. Yeah, he'll sleep in the bed with...
We experienced a couple month stretches where she would come in there in the middle of the night. But they always go away. Like, it'd be 3 weeks, and then it would just, where it was 4 nights.
But you had at least established this is not the norm.
Right. And you know what we did, which felt kind of messed up, but it worked? I think Kristen must have seen this on some mom blog or account. We put, like, a sleeping thing on the floor. Basically, like a padded sleeping bag, like a.
So if you do come in here,
you're sleeping down there.
Yeah,
and it wouldn't
get one of those big dog beds.
It wasn't that far off from that, and one, it didn't bother us when she did it, and two, eventually she was like, "This isn't as good."
Yeah.
So she's kind of like, I guess I'll just stay in my room. But it was weird the first couple times. Whenever she comes in, Kristen's like, "There's your bed."
Yeah.
Make him sleep on the floor.
Our kid only came in a couple times, and what I would do is I would just start having sex with my wife right away.
Yeah.
And that way, like, the kid's all, like,
gross.
Turned off by it. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, you're naked in there.
Yeah.
That was a weird thing the first time you sleep naked, and you're like, oh, God. Kid comes in. For some reason, I'm more likely to sleep naked when my wife is gone.
Same.
I don't know why. But I prefer it. I just don't always do it. Anyways.
Do you sleep under the same comforter as your wife?
Yeah. I'd never heard of that until I met you.
Same here.
You do?
Yeah.
And maybe that's why you don't do the naked thing. Like, because I just got my own comforter. She has her own comforter. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I just tend to try to think, would I want to sleep next to a naked dude? And I would say no, and so I try to not do that for her.
But if you had your own comforter, I bet you would.
No.
And your life would be better in so many ways.
It's the same reason that
Why don't you guys listen to me?
It's the same reason that like when I go to bed, I'm dressed like I would take the trash out. Shirt on, shorts, because I wouldn't want to be next to a big ugly guy with a shirt off, so I don't want to be that big ugly guy next to her. I just try to think of others, Dan.
2 North Texas men arrested for a $400,000 Lego crime ring that spanned multiple states.
Lego?
Yeah, so what they would do, and this was mostly from Walmart, I believe. They were arrested in Fort Worth. They would buy cheap items from Walmart and then alter the receipts. And they would make them look like they bought expensive Lego sets. So then they would go back, they would take the new receipt with them, grab the expensive sets from the shelves and walk out. If they were questioned, they would show them that altered receipt. Be like, look, I bought it. They just gave it to me. Like Blake at Costco or wherever he was.
Love it.
Yeah, $400,000 from Walmart and Target.
$400,000?
Yeah.
Wow. I think that's a lot of Legos. Maybe it's only like 2 boxes.
And also, like some of them, go for a lot online as collectibles.
Do they?
Yeah.
You know what? It's kind of like when a free agent signs, like Soto or something, you want to look back through all the big free agent signings and be like, how many of these work out? How many of these are still good year 8? How many, whatever. Like the collectible bit, the collectible crazes. Like, do you guys remember, Beanie Babies? You ever hear of that?
Oh, yeah, dude. I mean...
I think when I was a long time ago, Cabbage Patch Kids were something like every once in a while there becomes a collectible craze. Like right now, is that if I search Cabbage Patch Kid, is that a high dollar item?
I bet you that there's still narrow communities that do, Reddit is big for this.
And maybe like Tickle Me Elmo, that's probably a different thing.
Tickle Me Elmo was just a scarcity thing for the one item that everybody wanted that year.
Yeah.
Whereas Lego is more akin to trading cards. Not Lego, excuse me, Beanie Baby. Pokemon was kind of like this.
Right. Was Joe somebody we know is really into Pokemon.
My brother was
yeah.
brother was so into it as a kid that they banned them within 100 feet of his elementary school because he was like hustling kids.
Like they'd rather have him vape.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I really ever had a phase like this. You know, I would buy a comic book every now and then, but I wasn't really into it. I would buy baseball cards, but I wasn't obsessed. You know, I never really had that. I don't like having any stuff. Just be able to walk out the door and go, you know? What are you looking at? You're distracting me.
I'm looking at Beanie
Cabbage
Baby
Patch?
price guide right now.
Well, the point was trying to collect all of them, I guess.
Yeah.
Or have certain themes.
The Lego thing, though.
It says they were hitting stores for like multiple thousands at a time. That's crazy.
I mean, I know they're expensive, but getting to that number seems like a lot.
And they hit stores in Texas, Oklahoma, Florida, and Philadelphia. Like
okay, random.
Yeah.
Big.
The Beanie Baby Princess Bear, released in 1997 to honor Princess Diana. Right now, will go for $900,000.
What?
Right.
I thought you were going to say $900, and I was going to be pretty taken aback.
But I think looks like it's pretty rare if we get down to the top 10.
Sorry. This is a cautionary tale for all of our women out there. Dan, are you familiar with the brand Stanley?
The cup?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The daughters?
I don't know. Just living.
It's mainstream now, probably.
Yeah,
okay. I don't know any men who own them.
Okay.
So that's why I say that.
We're into what's Gronk's or Ski's thing?
Ice shaker.
Ice shaker.
Yeah, I bought some, including a gift for somebody. So
Stanley or Ice shaker?
Ice shaker.
Nice.
Copeland has a
Stanley
has a big Stanley.
That almost makes sense because he's a
hot.
very hot guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stanley recalling 2.5 million of their stainless steel travel mugs due to a burn hazard. There's a flaw in the lid where the threads shrink, exposed to heat. 16 people in the U.S. have been burned in recent use.
Well, that's like zero if you look at the percentage of people in the U.S.
It's not like zero to their legal department.
Yeah.
That's what really matters. Okay, do I want to do this one? Oh, yeah, this is obligatory. Plane crash in Victoria, Texas. A twin-engine propeller plane crashed into the highway down to Victoria. That's like Houston way, right? Splitting in two, leaving debris scattered.
Survive?
The pilot, let's see. Yeah, everyone's okay.
That's just great.
Just wanted to check in on flight pilot's lessons.
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Totally out now.
I was into helicopter piloting.
I get that wrong every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, the video of this is insane.
The plane basically splits in two. Is that the video you're talking about?
Well, they said they was trying to make an emergency landing on the highway.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome to see.
Not if you're trying to get somewhere.
Yeah, it'd be awesome to see if you're not on the highway. Oh, man. There's your news. Should have ended on a high. It didn't. Now we gotta wish we had that one
See,
back.
now you're waiting on him to lean back.
Yeah.
And it's ruining your discipline.
There are shirts available at dumbzonemerch.com right now that are Christmas themed. You can get your Moose Christmas tree for $13.10.
Why are you mentioning that now?
I'm just telling you. We didn't mention it earlier. And that savings is $6.90. You'll get a t-shirt for $13.10. You can also get a moose ornament.
So that's Raymond's bit.
Yeah.
Because that guy is a walking bit.
Oh.
He'll also do anything for you.
You're not going to meet many people more bit-laden.
Good dude, but you can't just like have any common little idea with him. He's like, well, what if we...
No.
You're like, hey, would you... can we do Christmas ornaments? Yeah, but what if
I'm
we
thinking
also...
about renting something in Times Square.
Yeah.
Like,
and then what if we did a contest?
Yeah, a contest.
That will... the first 12 people that bark like a seal and then...
Tweet this hashtag.
Today in history sponsor is Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled from the first legal distillery in Texas and founded by sixth-generation Texan Bert Tito Beveridge. Tito's is American-made at its best. Since selling its first case in 1997, Tito's has come in a standard bottle with a modest paper label, so all you have to pay for is the high-quality vodka inside. Simple, smooth, and mixes with anything. Tito's is America's favorite vodka for a reason. 6 times distilled till it's just right. Naturally gluten-free. Tito's is a high-quality spirit made for the smoothest martinis and the best Bloody Marys. Beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its communities and do good for dogs. It is the vodka for dog people, after all. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at titosvodka.com. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Incorporated, Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Distilled from corn. Copyright 2025. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
The Dumb Zone presents.
Oh, and I have some
Today in History.
viewer mail birthdays here as well, which I failed to do earlier, didn't I? You okay with that, Blake? Did I do those now?
Sure.
We're going to talk to the coach who never punts about the lady that had sex with 100 dudes in one day tomorrow.
Greetings, Lieutenant Landing Strip. It's DF Matt F's birthday. Let's see. Idea. Can we get a spin-off show called The Dead Zone with Danny, Jake, and Blake? Or The Dad Zone. Sorry, I guess I didn't stick that landing because I read it wrong. That makes more sense, as you guys are dads of young little kids.
I'm down to do the Dead Zone show. I mean, I think he had a really good season for Optic this year. He was like the unsung fourth, but when you come in second, they're going to want to replace you, so he's currently looking for a team.
Blake's slow morph into typical suburban dad. I look forward to his seggy in a couple years called What's on Blake's Big Green Egg.
Oh, you got to post the pictures.
I'm going to put my foot down. I'll never become that guy.
You're not going to get meat pilled?
No, I'm not going to tell you about grilling. I'm not going to tell you about the internal temperature of my brisket. I won't show you a picture of my food, and I'm not going to get a big green egg. And I will guarantee it.
There's nothing wrong with getting it, especially if they would like to have their word spread about their fine products right here on the Dumb Zone.
But that's the gateway.
But the problem is when you then publicize it. Like, I have a Pit Boss smoker that our father-in-law gave us. I intend to take more use of it in 2025. You won't see photos. Still one of the greatest bits of all time was to subtweet Ryan Medellin, who would constantly post meat stuff, and it would really bother Monty, and Monty posted a photo of a piece of Black Forest ham deli meat on a kitchen counter and took a picture of it and posted it and was like, hey, how does the bark on it look? My internal temperature got a little high here. How are the rings? Great bit.
You know what's weird is those meat pictures get real good engagement if you like engagement. Like, yeah, people love it.
Here's the thing. It's called engagement for a reason. Most of the stuff that jumps off, it's bewildering. Oh, you've been sober for a year. Ooh, whatever, dude.
Dear Tio Conyo, do you know the amount of days you've been sober?
No.
That's how we get more followers.
Here's how I know how many days it's been. When you guys tell me to make fun of me.
Tio Conyo, it is my buddy Ty's birthday. His leader is Dan's Bar of Soap, which could last up to 3 years. He just converted to 1 shower every 4 days and feels better than he has in a long time. I don't know if he'll hear this. He's tried Pussy Jake's theory of driving in silence and no longer subscribes to any podcasts.
Oh, no. Another way I've cost us.
Uncle Hotmail, it is the 39th birthday of Preston Doodoo Leonards. His leaders are Emily Jones and Dan's showering habits. He wants to know if Blake can name the mascot for Gainesville High School. Gainesville High School from K-Mac?
Well, K-Mac.
Oh, so cocky. He knows it.
It's the Leopards.
Wow.
I don't know if that's true or not.
It is.
East Texas? I don't even really know where
North.
Gainesville is.
It's up by the border.
They don't call it Gainesville for nothing.
Yeah, okay.
Today's Thursday, December 12th. On this day in 1957, very controversial marriage because singer Jerry Lee Lewis married Myra Gale Brown while he was still married to his second wife, Jane Mitchum. So there's so much controversy, and I think it was because he married this girl while... Wait a second.
Oh, there's more?
It says here he was 21, and his bride...
dental implants, they great.
His bride was 13 years old.
Shopping veneers over there?
You guys are ruining my great story here.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I got an autoplay.
I had the back and forth. I had the timing.
I know. It was a classic bit. I'm not shopping veneers, but obviously I'm being sold. Targeted. Yeah.
I would love veneers.
I'm sorry. She was 12, right?
You too?
13. Yeah,
13.
I want it.
This has always been a me and him thing.
Yeah.
I don't think you guys need them.
I would also go for just fake hair. Let's do
weird.
it. Let's get implants.
You both would look weird with fake hair, too. I mean, Jake doesn't need it.
I was going to say.
He's got terrific hair.
Fifth lowest scoring game in the NBA since the 24-second shot clock introduced. The Mavs lost 68-66 to the Jazz in 1997.
Good God.
Did I keep this up? I was searching the box score of that game this morning. It was interesting. What was interesting is I was looking at that Mavs season. They were terrible. They won like 20 games that year.
Of course.
One of their away games was like Golden State, 1997. Attendance 8,000.
There was no way there was that many there.
And on this day in 2010, the inflatable roof of the Minneapolis Metrodome collapsed following a snowstorm. They had to play their next game in Detroit. Is the Tampa baseball stadium done? We never be use it again?
That's the last I heard.
Never use it. You know what I mean. But it got ripped off, right? During one of them things? Hurricanes?
Dude, listen to this. In that game,
the Mavs game,
Finley played 48 minutes.
Oh, look what else at the box score. They only played 7 guys.
Yeah.
What are they doing?
Hubie Davis played 48. I don't know, because it's not like this was a normal thing, because like Malone played 38, Stockton played 21. They went 9 deep on their bench. 48 minutes.
Today's birthdays of somewhat famous people. Tyron Smith is 34.
I miss him.
Former Cowboy. Former Cowboy Alfred Morris is 36.
What a time. A lot of controversy there.
On the show?
Yeah.
About the pronunciation of Alfred Morris.
It was a touchy subject.
Alfred.
Former
Cowboy Raphael Septien, 71. Former Ranger Cole Reagans, 27. Traded for?
Chapman. Aroldis Chapman. And then he turned into a dynamite starter.
He's very good. Which might happen with first-round draft picks.
Not here.
Andrew Whitworth, 43. John Randall is 57.
He got skinny. Kind of. Not Joe Thomas skinny, but
he looks good.
Yeah.
He proved that linemen are all using steroids or something.
Yeah, something. But also you're consuming 4,000 calories a day.
Mike Glennon is 35.
His long neck.
Very long. Earthworm Jim.
Career earnings, $32 million. Damn. Billy Smith is 74. Billy Smith did something I would love to see He is the first NHL goalie to ever score a goal. You ever see a video of that, of somebody doing it?
No.
It's a good bit. Like, I always thought, was it Turco who was really good handling the puck?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Which, they had a goaltender who was very good at handling the puck.
The trapezoid?
And then right when they had changed the rules.
Ben Bishop was good at it.
Was it Ben Bishop?
But I don't think that was
very much here.
Yeah.
I think it was Turco then. I don't know. Somebody who was very good, like I always thought had a real good chance. He would get long assists occasionally too. But you get an empty net or something like that. Anyway, never saw it. Bob Zamuda, comedian, 75. He was he was Andy Kaufman's partner. Actor Sherry Wilson is 66. She was on Walker, Texas Ranger. Jennifer Connelly is 54.
Oh, my.
She was in Top Gun Maverick.
She was also in Requiem for a Dream.
Oh, that's her?
Yeah. That's
fun movie. That's going to be my Christmas movie with the family this year. Is Nora old enough?
I don't think so, but,
kids are growing up faster these days.
They are. Technology and stuff. I mean, you started with Chainsaw Massacre, but Chainsaw Massacre didn't have two women using one device together at the same time in front of a group full of businessmen.
That's very thrifty.
Yeah.
And actor or actress Mayim Bialik? How do you say that? Is 49. Blossom.
Yeah, I didn't really I didn't know anything about that show other than girls were into it. And then they had Joey, right?
Oh, she's Big Bang.
Jennifer Connelly?
No.
Oh, okay.
Bialik.
Born on this day, now dead, Orlando Brown, the lineman. Zeus and Bob Barker, who remember that was the bit. He died last year at 99, and that was like their bit. He went one under 100.
Closest without going over.
Yeah. Dead on this day, still dead. We had quite a few deaths on this day that we will report to you.
Did Bob Barker ever do anything else? I mean, I guess you could say the same thing about Sajak.
Right.
Is that just
Sajak tried.
He did? What, like acting?
No, he had a late night show after. In fact, it's in one of my TV books about how, The Sopranos changed the game, the early 2000s television, how it kind of changed the world.
Is that the Sepinwall book?
I think it's in that book.
Revolution will be televised or something?
One of my TV books. I like reading about behind-the-scenes TV. But it was talking about Pat Sajak, and when he got, or probably it was like a Late Night Wars book. Why would it be about the other thing? Pat Sajak got a late night show, and he wasn't really interested in the guest booking process or the bits that they were planning. What he really wanted to make sure he got, like in his contract, was he needed a billboard overlooking a certain place in Hollywood that most people would see it. He wanted the billboard for his show to be there. Like it was a big vanity type thing, and he had really no reason that he should have been like.
That makes total sense to me.
Yeah, but it feels like Bob Barker was only that guy. Whereas, I'll bet you people today might think, "Oh, Drew Carey, has he ever done anything else?"
Yeah.
They don't realize the vast.
He was pretty popular in the 90s, man.
He was.
You should be very proud of him.
Okay, died on this day, all in 2006. We have Peter Boyle.
The dad in Everybody Loves Raymond.
And I believe he was John Lennon's best man at his wedding to Yoko Ono.
Really?
Huh.
Don't look it up. Same day, Elizabeth Bolden, at the time, and I don't know if they call her this for all time, the world's oldest person. She was 116 years old. That sounds pretty good.
No, it doesn't.
And Keiko the killer whale The whale from the Free Willy movies. Were you into that?
Oh, I was.
No.
I was super into it.
Did you cry and stuff?
Yeah, of course I did. His fin humped over because he would get sad in captivity. That's that's actually what happens to him. It just kind of falls over on its side because they're all bummed out. Lori Petty. Lori
Kind of
Petty and Michael
an
Madsen.
ironic thread there because they actually had to use a whale in captivity to film this movie.
He died metaphorically so others could be free.
Died on this day in 2020, Charlie Pride. COVID. Remember that?
Barely.
Norman Bridwell. He created Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Spare.
It's making a comeback.
I know.
Is Brooks into it?
I see it every now and then. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's fine, I guess. It's just kind of a give up.
Well, I know, but to a kid, hey, look how big that dog is.
Oh, didn't you get to see Clifford or something?
It was a, Clifford day at Brooks' daycare. He was stoked.
How'd he get that name?
The Big Red Dog?
Well, I was...
Louis C.K. has a great bit on that. Clifford wasn't big. You just drew him bigger than everything else.
And died on this day in 2022. Oh, no. Mike Leach.
Damn, man.
That's no good.
Heard a story about him, that he did one of his famous radio interviews or whatever. He's driving through a Chick-fil-A drive-through, and he stops the interview. Yeah, I'll have a number one with a sweet tea, and then it goes viral or whatever. ESPN can't believe it. Mike Leach, because it's so Mike Leach. And one of his assistants was driving in, heard the interview, and was like, "He's supposed to be in the office right now." Parks walks in, and Leach was doing the interview from his desk. Like he faked that. Just to feed into the Mike Leach aura or
He
whatever.
definitely seemed like a guy who was... he was like if Ham were a football coach. Like he's just kind of always doing a bit that might just be for him. Ham as Mike Leach actually makes perfect sense to me.
And that was Today in History.
So what's tomorrow?
We got the coach who never punts in the den, and
picks.
I have written down here, dumb little song thing.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe, but definitely the girl sleeps with 100 dudes in one day documentary.
Sleeps with.
And
makes love to.
It's insane.
Gets donations from.
The guy making the documentary, it's after the act, whatever you want to call it. And she's like, yeah, I'm not really physically tired or anything. I'm just not that sore down there. It's just my eyes they hurt. They sting. The guy goes, why, just a long day? And she said, no, because of all the cum in it.
Adios, mofo.
We gotta go before this becomes a zoo.
Thank you for watching my video. Subscribe and type for my name if you want to watch more of my videos.